涙じゃないよずっと苦しく背負ってくんだ出口見えない感情迷路に誰を待ってるの白いノートに綴ったようにもっと素直に吐き出したいよ何から逃れたいんだ現実ってやつかないために生きてるんだって叫びたくなるよ聞こえていますか無難になんてやってられないから帰る場所もないの優しさにはいつも感謝してるだから強くなりたい懐かしくなるこんな痛みも
Alright, we're live.
How's my mic, Paul?
It's been great the whole time.
Before we cut ourselves off, we were talking about pain. Peter talking about him.
Right, we were talking about pain. The I forget what the guy's name is. Peter from Hypocrisy.
Abyss Studios.
We just lost all our listeners for this episode.
Well, he's got.
You start to like understand like the Abyss Studios sound once you like kind of listen to enough of them. I haven't listened to Pain in like forever since I was like 12 or something. But shit, I remember it like being like some sort of like Rammstein-ish electronic rock or whatever. I think Peter even did suck for Rammstein, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right. It does sound a lot like Rammstein. The main song I was thinking of.
He did do recording for the second Sect album.
Uh-huh.
I think it was The Excellence, that one. So I just think it's funny how prolific he is, because I know like some really interesting ones where it was Seth and Soren he did recording for, and Arcanum.
Yeah, I'm looking at his shit right now. Canner's Quintet.
Yeah, you can like understand it once you like. You can kind of like eke it out, sort of. You're like, oh yeah, I can hear the Abyss. It's kind of got like a windy sort of production style in the guitars. And sometimes he'll do like his weird like sort of Danny Filth scream that he does on like the later Hypocrisy stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking of that main song that they had where the aliens come over to his house and like try to abduct him, and I think it was called "Shut Your Mouth." Shut your mouth.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's classic.
Oh, that brings back some memories.
It's got that answering machine beeping in the background.
Yeah, it's like boop, beep, boop, 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 boop. It kind of reminds me of that Euro Papa song that Eurovision just put out.
Why does everybody talk about Eurovision? Is that like some sort of affectation to make themselves seem more sophisticated than they really are?
I have no idea. I found out about it today. The song that like got disqualified was actually kind of a cool Euro trash, and I like that sort of thing, you know, like Numa and shit.
Oh god, yeah. Isn't it like some like what's that genre? Isn't it like some really metrosexual kind of like, I don't know what you would call it.
I think you call it Eurodance.
Eurobeat, Eurodance, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
Like whoever the hell did the fucking Barbie girl song Aqua, a famous export from Sweden. If you didn't know.
Yeah, exactly. So you have Aqua, and then the other big one was that fucking that Bass Hunter song. What was it called?
Oh. I was just looking up who that is. That guy looks a lot like Ryan Gosling.
Are you talking about Bass Hunter? Oh, Bass Hunter. He kind of does look like Ryan Gosling, doesn't he? He's a real human being and a real hero.
Isn't the biggest Swedish export
ABBA?
ABBA?
Like one of those. Well, everybody knows that. That's like a foregone conclusion. ABBA. I can't really hate on Ghost. Speaking of ABBA, I can't really hate on Ghost because, like, I don't know. Shit, what's the guy's name?
Papa something. The Pope.
Whatever his name is, he did Repugnant. And
yeah.
That shit's just like crazy good.
Euro Papa.
That's why I hate Ghost. It's so different and so.
Well, yeah,
and, you know,
but I mean, it's like Vinterland, where I just like they don't need to record anything. It's just so perfect. I wouldn't change anything about that album.
You know, the first time I ever heard about Ghosts, a guy told me that they don't know who's behind it, but it might be Varg, and it kind of sounds like Burzum. So I'm like,
what?
Huh? Okay. Then I went to listen to the first album. I'm like, what the fuck is this?
What, Ghost is in like Sweden Ghost or the Polish Ghost?
No,
How could you
Sweden
like say
Ghost.
Varg is behind that? What the fuck?
That was back when they first came out, and no one really knew what was going on. But he said, I heard it's Varg, and it kind of sounds like Burzum. And I'm like,
Well,
what?
the whole
something.
the spectrum goes.
Speaking of sketch stuff and Ghost, one of the guys who did the art for the EP also did art for Absurd and some Blazeworth Hall bands. It's the which
Is it that lady?
was it? Yeah, it's the one with the lady.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think she does all the Blazeworth Hall shit. I think that's the girlfriend of the guy from Dubbuck is who that is.
Nyard, that's the guy. He did art for Absurd, Branacall, Eugenic, Forest, Crota. I don't really like Crota. And Ghost.
Yeah, doesn't Crota cry me a river or something?
Oh, that's nice. Slut Vomit, too.
Good band name, actually.
Yeah, good band,
too. It's been a while since I
too.
heard Slut Vomit, yeah.
They're great
I remember
live.
them being pretty good. I could imagine, yeah. They're like a, sort of like a Niflheim type band.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just thought that was an interesting connection. Like, I found earlier, the guy, Henry Servali, I've been, like, getting into some, like, revisiting some stuff from the Tico studio in Finland. They recorded stuff, like, for Algazanth, Thyrain, Belial, Barathrum, first, like, early Moon Sorrow, and I was, like, looking at Moon Sorrow, and I heard, like, Henry Servali. I looked at, like, some of the bands he was credited as. Somebody sent me something. He was credited as the Sieg Heil Man on some project.
Sieg Heil Man!
And he also did the Angry Birds soundtrack, too.
Angry Birds?
Yes!
For the movie or for the game?
A Angry Birds game.
Oh, okay.
So, the Sieg Heil Man, if you didn't know, the Sieg Heil Man did the Angry Birds soundtrack.
Man, no background checks, huh?
Well, Finland is like such a tiny country that it's like you're just like bound. It's gonna happen. You're just gonna like bump into somebody who's like in a black metal band or a death metal band or something. Like before long, we're gonna have like Goat Moon on the next Angry Birds soundtrack. I remember when like the movie came out, there was like a bunch of discourse about it, like being like a like having like I don't know like nativist like xenophobia type themes. So there's just like that dark ugly undercurrent that just like permeates Finnish culture. There's something really like weird about Finland. They just like
they don't really like their own people.
I think they're part like Asian or something.
Grotesque, like from like Finland, like Impaled Nazarene, Ride for Revenge, Goat Moon, like all those guys. They all have like photos of them with like their dicks out or something.
Yeah,
it's just like it's like something that's just like inherent in the Finnish spirit. I don't know if I can understand that.
It's part of the Euro trash scene.
Yeah. That's gonna be on Eurovision before you know it.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be on Eurovision too.
It's all about feeling free.
Well, Dan, you want to intro the show?
Have we been recording this whole time?
It's been 8 minutes.
Yeah.
8 minutes. Okay. Well, let's see. Well, shalom, everybody, and welcome to episode. What is this? 47?
57.
Welcome.
We need to
57.
We need to talk in like 2018 language. You're like, shalom, fellow Goyim.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Say welcome, you kosher rats.
Hello, fellow Goyim. I've got my Murdoch shirt on. That's like
oh
a really
God,
nice
Murdoch. I don't think Paul and Fred don't even know what that is. Unfortunately, I do.
And I don't even want to know.
I'm gonna drop so many power levels here. I'm just gonna say that I do not subscribe to ideology. I just think it's very funny. It's just like a really quaint thing.
Kraken.
I think.
Murdoch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think whether you're subscribed to anything, it is funny either way. But I guess we're still sort of reeling from the Radio Free Innsmouth appearance on Terminus. So Radio Free Innsmouth has been here. He's been on Terminus.
I listened to that one.
Dream Blunt Rotation.
He's doing the tour. Yeah, he's doing the tour.
Yeah, he said the next step is J-Dog's house, so...
Yeah, he
If he
said
makes
next
it.
step is to break into J-Dog's house.
Yeah, we'll see
Yeah,
what
his
that
next
happens.
video. How many days in advance is J-Dog stuff recorded?
I think 2.
Oh, it was-
He's like, yeah, I don't know. It's like fucking 2 days.
We're gonna get like a live stream firing up on J-Dog's channel from his
He has to
phone.
do it. He has to do it so early. I guess J Dog does it like at like what 5 or 6 in the morning, like every day.
Who's banging the fuck on my door? Who's banging on my door?
it's fucking Jump.
Hey, dude, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Hey, that fucking DSI album sucked, dude.
You think his entire like backdrop is just like a studio or something?
Oh, that's not really
Like,
his
he's
room.
just, like-
he's got those.
Like, it's
He's got like a backdrop
it's
with the
Red
fucking.
Letter. No, it's like Red Letter Media where they're in like a warehouse, or he's in like a war game or something.
Yeah, he doesn't
like,
actually own that putrefaction vinyl.
No, it's all a crap. I'm pretty sure like most of his like presentation is just like a gimmick anyway. There's like no way he actually acts and talks like that. I'm pretty sure it's just
Well,
like a
he's-
pro wrestling.
It's
sort
all
of thing.
simulacrum and shit.
Well, he's
Yeah.
like he's sort of said as much that like he's not like that in real life. And we
Nobody
have
is.
no, we have a correspondent who actually met him. Hope met him and said that he
A
really didn't
spy.
even want to talk.
You sent a cipher in, yeah.
She
I
said
can
he was eating
imagine
like
that.
chili cheese fries or something,
Yeah.
wearing like some
Yeah.
New Balances.
Yeah, he's wearing New Balances. Yeah, I was thinking if you like tap him on the shoulder or something, he's just gonna like talk in like a completely like sort of like metropolitan, sophisticated accent.
Yeah. I mean that could be the case, but nah,
Yeah.
J-Dog's too real. And you know, like we were saying in the comments, there are a lot of J-Dog haters. You saw that Music of Destruction guy.
I
Did
can't
you check out
understand
any of
getting
his
mad
shit?
at him. Like, how could you get mad at him? He's like I don't know. I'm not gonna say he's like a big softie, but he's like such a. Just like you can't really get pissed at him. It's like getting mad at SpongeBob.
And
How
he
much
gets
hate
he's mad at
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
He is mad at the
He
Sponge
hates
Dog. That's right.
SpongeBob because there's like a lot of SpongeBob in him, in his anima.
Well, he's the one that started that. He went off on some episode like saying that SpongeBob was for pink panty wearing posters or
Yeah,
something.
he was projecting.
He hates how much of the trickster sort of goofball spirit he sees in him. He sees a reflection of him.
Getting real Jungian. I think Vince will get a kick out of that.
Youngie.
But yeah, Dan, who do we have on? Who's this? It's not Fred.
It isn't Fred.
Who's this interloper?
Well, I was gonna sort of start off with something else, but
You
If,
just sent me a link here. I just wandered in.
yeah. If Aiden wants to introduce himself, tell us what he does, where he's been, and what he's all about. Feel free, dude. This is your show today. Go off, King.
I am the owner of the Burzumgamecube YouTube channel. I've been uploading music that I like for about, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years now. I did the Occult Abyss podcast for about like 3 months. I was on like 3 episodes, but I kind of like put them together. I was the first person to upload the new Graham Bilal's Key album, and I feel
That's
a
true.
bit of guilt for that. I feel some guilt for that.
I'm glad you said it because I was thinking of bringing that up.
It's got like I'm like blown away by how many views it has. I'm looking at it right now. It's got 170K.
Was it you that
is
originally
Goatman.
uploaded it with like the soy jacks, or was that
No.
somebody else?
Actually, the first person was the guy who did the soy jacks.
Yeah, okay,
just
I
think,
do
like,
remember
a lot
that.
of people didn't click on the one with the soy jacks because they just thought it was like a joke or something.
Oh yeah.
They were like, "Oh, it's probably gonna be like 2 black dudes kissing if I click on it for 40 minutes."
That's what happened
So
with
I'm
the
not gonna
original
watch it.
Argus Lent new album. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
funny.
I think I've seen that.
Oh, I think I sent it to you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, we thought it was
Yeah,
the album, and then it was just like,
if
I
I
don't know,
look-
black porn or something, like gay black porn.
Yeah. Yeah, you can never believe it. It's a classic. Classic. Oldest trick in the book. Oldest trick in the book. But if I look at like the analytics here, if I pull out my little spreadsheet here, my little YouTuber spreadsheet.
Nerd.
If I get my little spreadsheet out, yeah, it's got it's 170K. I honestly think some of it might be botted. I'm genuinely doubtful of it. I don't know. And if I like look at the audience here, I'm surprised nothing's been taken down. Knock on wood. Like I noticed like a lot of the people from the Goat Moon upload are like from Brazil or like South American countries, which I just think is funny.
Somebody have a video game playing in the background?
That was my
I-
dryer.
I heard something.
Oh,
Yeah.
your dryer was making noise. My dryer sings too.
Yeah. Dryer's got some sick bops in them
Oh,
now.
man.
La 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 la.
Yeah. Do. That's a fucking certified hood classic.
Yeah, that's basically the rundown. I watch stuff, I upload stuff. That's kind of the beginning and the end of it.
Yeah, well, you're in the know. You're one of these Zoomers that happens to know everything.
I guess, yeah. I'm in the know.
Well,
I'm a Zoomer.
I suppose
I
before we
like
get
to reject the term, but I guess Zoomer like kind of implies like some sort of, I don't know, so like iPad baby stuff. But I'll take it.
I feel like it's sort of
Objectively,
it has to do with
that's
like,
where I fit in, I guess.
yeah, I feel like it has to do a lot with what people think is funny online. I feel like that's a huge aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because it's all those guys that have done like the new age of like metal meme pages and things. Because before
Yeah. I
the
used to make a
20-something-year-olds
bunch of, like,
didn't.
memes and stuff.
Yeah, before you guys, there really wasn't any like metal meme pages. Metal Mentors
Well, it's
was
crazy
like the
because
only one.
I remember a time when that wasn't a thing, and it's like things have changed so fast. Like when I got into metal, I was like 12 or 13 or something, and there were like no metal meme pages at all, and yeah, I just like I remember like the only thing that would suffice was just like, you know, like the top bottom text, like normal stuff that like appeals to Facebook moms and stuff like that like I guess normies would understand. But yeah,
Well, yeah, it was always
I
like
blame
Chuck
most-
shoulder worship.
yeah,
That's what a lot of it was.
Yeah, it's like the brutal, freaking brutal dude stuff. Like I remember seeing like one thing, like one shitty meme, and it was just like how an Monomarth mosh pit looks, and it's like dudes in medieval knight armor, and I'm just like thinking, and it's like, what? Monomarth is a Viking band. That doesn't even make sense. I don't even like a Monomarth, so I just thought that was weird. Like I remember Jared Dines was like the big channel at the time. If you remember that guy, I don't even know if he like still uploads anymore.
Yeah, I know Jared Dines. He's the metalcore guy.
Yeah, like I remember like all of my friends in school who would like play, who I was in guitar class with, would be like, "Oh yeah, I love Jared Dines, dude. Jared Dines is awesome." I don't even think he uploads anymore. I don't see him in like my feed or anything. And this was also before Wyatt started doing like the iceberg videos and stuff. Back when he kind of did the, I don't know what you would call the style, like just dude in front of a camera, the Count Blagarath format. If you remember that guy.
Yes, we've talked about Count Blagarath before.
He always
there was
sounded like he was on the verge of tears.
Yeah, he does. It's like, I got this revenge beach towel.
Yeah, I'd cry too if I was that much of a revenge fan, but I'm too.
There was another guy that was really huge. I think maybe slightly before Count Blagarath. His name was Cover Killer Nation. Do you know who that is?
Yes, I remember Cover Killer Nation.
Yeah, he was probably one of the OG metal YouTube guys.
That guy was like a king. That guy was like a king of just like shit. Like shit.
Well, he was. That's what gave Razor Fist his fucking influence, I think.
Yeah, I used to watch the shit out of Razor Fist. Cover Killer Nation would like upload just like 5 times a day, and every single time it would be like a new musician who died, and it'd be like a 2-minute video where you just like commemorate them or something. Like I remember watching the one for Goat Lord, which is incredible if you know what the guy who died in Goat Lord
Yes,
did.
yeah. An ex-band member of mine and his
Killed his
buddy, we were all
neighbors.
hanging out. Yeah, he killed his neighbors and then he killed himself. But we were watching the news fucking, like the news video on that, and my friend Black Josh said that was the funniest thing in the world. Even like the way they described the way he looked. He's like, oh, he was wearing a visibly dirty shirt. I remember my friend thought that
Yeah,
was
he
very
was always
funny. A
like,
visibly dirty shirt.
he always looked who Goat Lord or the Goat Lord guy or Cover Killer Nation.
Oh no, the Goat Lord guy.
Yeah, I could imagine.
I think his name was Joe Franklin or something.
Then that reminds me of
Yeah,
like
they-
a fucking.
They all got really high. Like you could see the writing on the wall if you like read the lyric sheets on their albums and stuff. Like they
Yeah,
were all
Acid
about like
Orgy.
LSD. Doom Snake Cult was a really cool, like it was basically like Goat Lord stuff that was too trad doomy for Goat Lord.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of like Saint Vitus, but with like harsh vocals, which is good. I like Doom Snake Cult, but yeah, it's like Acid Orgy, stuff like that, and Chicken Dance. Chicken Dance is great. We all love Chicken Dance. There's like one lyric in it where it's just, I think it's as you enter the chicken's home, you will see where, I'll read it right now.
You'll find that you are not in his sane mind.
You are not in his sane mind. Yep. I don't understand what that's about, but I can see why the guy would go and kill people.
Hey, he says the chicken's
not-
blood is so sweet.
I'm pretty sure that song's about a voodoo ritual.
Yeah,
Yeah,
The
that's
question
what I always
is-
assumed too.
The question is with or without the chicken clucking.
but like the way the English totally falls apart at the end, like makes it's like some sort of sarcophagus stuff. Doesn't make sense considering they were from fucking Vegas.
Yeah. On
But,
sacrifice lyrics right here, it's like, I will kill thy neighbor. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoops.
Well,
Cat-
there was like one thing, like I think it was there was like one song called Love, and they sang like a song about like Hitler, Mussolini, and some like some African politician. They love each other. It's like a song about people getting
Mugabe,
along.
maybe.
No, it was Amin, whoever that is. But could you imagine just like dying and having Cover Killer Nation just drop a video on you? It's like your only memorial. That would be fucking tough.
Nah, that'd be fucking dope, dude.
I haven't seen an upload from him in a long time. I think I'm still subscribed to him.
I think he's gone.
I
I
don't
think he
know.
might have made an announcement that he's gone. I might be mistaken on that.
Yeah, as I'm like looking right here. Gee, that's a blast from the past.
I was gonna say, when it comes to like some of these newer meme pages and they're like what's going on with like the metal meme pages. There's even a new one where they make jokes and nobody knows what it's about, and now it's like, what does this even mean?
I don't even know, like, what
You wouldn't get it.
where do you think the Rubicon was where like all this stuff started popping up? Because I'm kind of curious to know. Like I always like to ask people when they think like the culture really changed, kind of to like this sort of like ironic meme stuff.
Well, I've
Like, where
mentioned
do
on
you
the show.
see that?
I've mentioned on the show before that Metal Mentors was probably the OG metal meme page, but it doesn't seem like younger people even know what that is. Do you know what that is,
No.
Metal Mentors?
No.
Look
like,
them up on
what is
Insta.
that?
It was the OG metal meme page in like when Instagram first started in 2013 probably.
Damn.
Yeah, seriously.
Jesus.
If you go back to like the very beginning, there's a ton of gold in there.
Dude, 2013, that's like fucking, that's antediluvian. That's like before the Great Flood.
Exactly.
From, like, what
nothing
happened.
crazy had happened yet.
I like to think that the big change kind of happened in COVID or in lockdown when like everybody had this free time in their hands. They just kind of like had to find a hobby and like kind of they kind of saw that outlet in metal. Maybe. Do you think that's the case?
It's a good theory.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really know. I mean, I don't exactly know when I came across a lot of these fucking
Yeah, I'm not
kinds
even
of pages.
in touch with that shit at all, really.
Yeah, because I don't know, just like I just want to know like when a bunch of like tourists kind of came along, just kind of. I'm gonna probably be in this for a long time, if not for forever. That's kind of how you want to be.
Yeah.
But
At some point, you figure it's going to be forever. I want to say, like, age 20, 21, you're probably in it for the long haul.
once you start like hearing enough like Slayer riffs and stuff that shouldn't make sense, that's kind of when you start to realize.
Well, I think you're on the right track because you're talking about certain recording similarities between recording studios. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
that's
always
like-
like a
that's-
little deep dive I like to go down. It's like
Yeah.
studios, labels, stuff like that.
yeah, usually
Yeah,
just
that's,
go regional. But
yeah, that's totally, like, beyond what me and Paul did for a long time, I think, right?
That's a great way of discovering new bands is like look just like reading the thank yous or whatever. I have the Nocturnus Thresholds cassette here, and they thank Transformers in it. So if you're looking for like a good inspiration, there you got Transformers. I'm sure that's
Robots in disguise.
I'm sure that's Mike Browning's input. Which speaking of, I
You
haven't
can hear it in the
listened to
music.
Nocturnus. I haven't. Yeah, you can hear it in the music, but I haven't listened to the new Nocturnus AD. So I don't know if you guys have.
Yeah,
it
it ain't
was-
bad. It sounds like the old Nocturnus. It's not horrible, I wouldn't say.
I
Yeah.
liked it, but it didn't stick with me. I'm
I can see
hoping
a
the new
lot of
one
people-
kind of does it better.
I can see a lot of people not liking Nocturnus AD because the vocals are just so not death metal. They're more of like that kind of pre-death metal, not like Possessed, but where it's like heavy metal that could be described as death metal, I guess.
what's a
Like
band?
a lot of those Floridian bands were like giving props to Nasty Savage and stuff like
Oh, okay.
that. Or like maybe they didn't mention it, but maybe Tyrant, that the West Coast one, the one that the other vocalist from Candlemass went on to join, the Solitude Eternus guy. Shit, trying to remember his name. But that's like another band. Like there were those like kind of heavy metal bands that were kind of described as death metal because Mike Browning's vocals aren't like really conventionally death metal. They're just kind of spoken, sort of. They're just like his
Yeah,
regular voice. Like
he's got a slight rasp to it.
Yeah.
yeah.
Sounds
Well,
like
on
it
the
was a sore
earlier
throat.
albums, it was more apparent, but now it's like he's just kind of like narrating. It's more like kind of like rhythmic punches, sort of just like added to the music. I just thought that was funny. The current guitarist in Nocturnus AD had like a really crazy good band that he played in called Lethal Prayer. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. It's
Yeah.
like really. Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's-
remember the name. I don't know that I remember any of the music. Let's see.
Well, I remember like hearing the name in passing a bunch, and then actually checking it out, and it's like it's probably like one of my favorite sort of one and done bands up there with like Infestor. It kind of sounds a bit like Infestor, without any keyboards. It kind of sounds like like the first like couple of Imprecation demos, where it's like a sort of even split between black and death metal. Yeah, the guy's vocals were really cool. It kind of sounds like that sort of Asian style stuff. I always like to come back to the Spiritual Decay album. It's really cool.
Yeah, I've never heard this before. This is I don't think I've ever heard this before. So I'll have to check it out.
Yeah,
Well, the first comment on
Kinda sounds like
YouTube.
Cool.
Vinyl Remains.
First comment on YouTube is the drummer. He says, "So proud to have been the first drummer for this band after this seminal
Yeah.
release."
Have you ever seen have you ever seen any comments where they're just like negging on it, where it's like the actual musicians, where they're just like it's a completely different person? Because I've seen like everybody knows like the one early vocalist from Gorgoroth who like became like a karate teacher or something
Was that
and
Hat?
converted to Christianity. Yeah, it was Hat.
Oh, okay. No, I never
No,
heard
no,
about
no.
that. I didn't know anybody was talking shit about him either.
Or like somebody who just like totally disavows their past.
Oh, he doesn't want to be associated with Gorgoroth anymore? Yeah, I didn't know about that either.
No.
I think the only thing I know about like something similar to that is like the vocalist for like Crossed Out. He's like totally doesn't want to be a part of the history of that
He
band.
crossed himself out.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, half of Possessed didn't want to be involved in it either.
Yeah, I can see.
Why, I wonder?
That's gonna be us 5 years. Galicia, who?
Never heard of him.
Jeff Becerra posts some weird shit. Not like weird.
Pantero's first 4 albums.
Say, Aiden, did you happen to see that interview with Jeff Becerra and J-Dog?
Maybe. When was that?
It was a while ago. It was maybe a year ago. But Jeff said that
Jeff interviews.
Jeff said that J-Dog was handsome. He goes, "You're a really handsome guy."
I can see that. Jeff Becerra seems like he's on like all sorts of medical marijuana. Because he's like fucking. As he gets shot and he's crippled.
J-Dog's interviews are great because he's so like taken away by some of these the comments. He's like, "Oh, what?"
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like totally out of his element. He's like always going into like uncharted territory.
Yeah, it seems like he always does, but he doesn't care. That's what's cool about him.
I can imagine him like pre-gaming before the interview, like just like getting ready in the mirror, just like talking himself up.
That and some like pre-workout or something, just like.
You got this. You got this, brah brah.
Come on, this is gonna come out 2 days later. Come on, brah brah.
Yeah, he's like kind of aggressive with the band. It's funny.
Well, I like the Attic one. He was totally like fanboying out. He was marking out hardcore for Attic.
Yeah, I like the one where he interviewed that Japanese guy and like he could barely speak and he had to talk into like the translator.
The Paul Lenny one's great too.
Oh yeah, the whole saga.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was one with like a brutal death metal band where at the end he goes, "This guy's got a fucking Pee Wee Herman physique," and then the whole band starts cracking up.
Oh, here's the one with the Gene from Angel Corpse. That's a good one. He did an interview with him. I don't remember being terribly funny, but
he interviewed the guy from Cyanide and also the dude from Nunslaughter, who's like always on there, I think. But he's
yeah, the two of them together.
Yeah, what did he say? He said something about. He goes, "Oh, Death Strike doesn't do Pay to Die enough." He goes, "What? Cannibal Corpse doesn't have enough the same covers and shit." And J-Dog's like, "Oh hell no, brah brah," and he like gets in his face. The dude from Cyanide puts his arms up like, "Oh fuck, sorry."
Cyanide is good. I like Cyanide.
Don't talk shit about the CC.
The CC, the Zum, yeah, you got all that stuff. Fucking Zum.
The
When did he start
GameCube.
uploading? I'm like looking, like what's his oldest video? I can remember. 2 years.
I think
ago,
he's only been around for like 2 years or so.
Yeah. I must have been watching since the beginning. Holy shit. One of the first was that Centurion demo. Good band, actually.
There you go.
Oh, that's the Deicide-ish type band, right? Centurion?
Yeah. They're Dutch, but they don't sound Dutch at all. They sound quite Brazilian.
Yeah, dude. So I'd like to shift gears a little bit into maybe talking about the Occult Abyss podcast and your own YouTube channel too, because you know when I had heard your guys' podcasts and you guys had a few guests that I was really a fan of. Like I liked Gonalok, and I really liked the Makwahidal episode. That one was really good. I'm not sure which ones. You said you were only on 3 of them, right?
Yes, I was only on the Gonalok one, I think the Makwahidal one, and shit, what else? The really early ones, like the first 3 ones. I wanted to be able to get on the Hessian Firm one, but I wasn't able to.
Yeah, we had him on as well. What can you tell us about kind of getting started and like what can you tell us about the main guy? Because I always thought that Burzumgamecube was the main. Thought it was Eric. for some reason.
I
think a lot of people did.
Two Erics.
Oh, okay.
There's Eric with a K and Eric with a C, and we're just like two guys that were mutuals on Instagram, and we just thought we were like just floated this idea in a group chat. We're like, oh yeah, what if we just did this? And we're like, okay, sure. So I kind of downloaded what's it called? Something that seems a lot more complicated than what you guys are using, Clean Feed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what it was called, but it's totally escaping my mind right now.
Oh, the program you
It's
showed
something-
earlier.
It was something that required us to like all have it installed on our desktop or something. And I mean, yeah, it's
Oh,
it was
OBS
just like
Studios.
No, it wasn't OBS. Actually, I've kind of like been trying to learn OBS, and I think it's a lot easier now. And I think I could probably use that. So I mean, it was just like a really convenient time for all of us, and we just kind of thought, oh yeah, what if we just did this? So we did it. I think I was finishing up my senior year of high school, so I had a lot of time on my hands, and so we all just did it. So it was just it was a convenient thing, something to do with my time. Yeah, I mean, it's something I'm totally open to doing again.
Yeah, it seemed like you
Really,
guys
like,
got big really
part
fast.
The hardest part was recording it and putting it together, because holy shit, he'd send me, one of the Erics would send me the files on email. He'd do the episodes, send me the recordings. I'd put them together on my fucking phone, and then save it to my camera roll, and then upload it from my phone to my channel.
Damn, man, just use Clean Feed.
Yeah. well, I have OBS now, and I have all these nice things. I didn't really know how to use a computer at the time. So I have all these things now that make it much easier.
Skip out
So,
for
I mean,
a second.
it's something I'm open to doing again.
Yeah.
Where we leave off?
No, we're good. I don't know what happened to Dan, but
Yeah, my mic went out.
I'm open
That
to-
happens sometimes.
Yeah, I'm open to doing it again, because we were all in like different time zones, so it just kind of conflicted, and like we had to like kind of like eke out this time in the midday to do it. I gotta take a piss really quick. I'll be
yeah,
right
go
back.
for it. All right, we're back.
Hey, easy pause, easy piss.
Yeah, the Occult Abyss thing was just kind of like a really. Well, I drank 2 like energy drinks today, so I mean like I've got like a tiny ass fucking bladder at the moment.
Yeah,
But
I'm sitting here drinking a 6-pack, so I feel the same way.
a whole thing, Jesus.
Yeah, I already pissed my pants, so.
I don't know if I'm gonna finish all of it. I'm only on number 2 here.
Peeing your pants is the coolest.
Yeah, that's true.
The Occult Abyss was just like a really convenient thing for us. I mean, I'm totally open to doing it again.
Yeah, because it seemed like the whole I guess concept of the show was interviewing someone, and you guys seem to have a lot of connections with like, I guess in the later episodes was gearing more towards like brutal death metal, but at the beginning it was more black metal.
But like how many none of these guests were using my clout or anything, like literally non-existent clout.
Yeah.
That was all Eric, who just like basically just would like do the quote unquote booking for guests and stuff like that. I'm still like blown away that we got Gonna Walk On and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, Gonna Walk and Makuhito, those were insane episodes.
Yeah.
Some of my favorites were like the Effluence one and the anal stab wound. Let's see what else. Mac, of course. I love Mac when he's on those.
A few times.
Oh yeah.
Love Mac.
I forgot about that one.
Then Hessian Firm, of course, and Makuhito. Those are like some of the standouts for me.
Yeah, and we were such like we all basically already knew each other very well, and we just like had a kind of
good rapport.
We kind of had like a sort of rotating Rolodex of just like people that we could just get in to like fill in for each other. So I mean, like I was gone after like the first one, so.
Dude, but it was so funny was like there was like like certain recorded disputes between like Eric and Mac where I guess you guys would have like jokes or something, and then Mac wouldn't get it, and then he'd be like he'd just get upset about it.
We had so many inside jokes. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did Max say? Like you Zoomers say, it is what it fucking is.
Yeah.
It is. Everybody says it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say that. Cobra
That's
says
a new
that.
thing. Everybody's Cobra says it. Dude, have you watched The Sopranos?
Yeah.
It's like a cultural thing.
It is what it fucking is.
Have you seen the new drink that Cobra made today? Holy shit.
Was that the Skittles fucking mead?
Yeah, dude, that's like a fucking, oh my god.
I heard he already got his new place doxed.
Gland.
It's pretty fucking good.
He got his new place doxed?
That's what I heard on Facebook. That his new place is already doxed.
Jesus.
I don't know how he does
that information.
Send him DoorDash orders of like sauce sandwiches from Subway.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's the worst they do? It's like they just order him food.
Right?
They just order him shitty food. That's all they do.
And they call
People are so crazy today. People are so bloodthirsty. It's like they'll shoot a clown. It's like, I don't know. That's not like, it's kind of like why I don't really like the Chris Chan stuff or any of this like lolcow stuff anymore. Is because it's just it's bleak. Like everybody's gotten so into that they like want to kill the subject of their enjoyment or something.
Yeah, it's like
want to kill Cobra.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine.
Yeah, that'll be a sad day.
He's gonna kill himself drinking that fucking Skittles drink that he made today. It was like a combination of like C4 and this not the bomb, but like the C4 energy drink and fucking Skittles candy.
Might as well be equivalent to the bomb.
Well, there was one where he was making hard-boiled eggs in Mountain Dew. That was kind of interesting.
He's about to kill the rainbow.
Oh fuck!
Kill the rainbow.
Yeah, dude. I brought up
Smith was actually kind of an inspiration, like a sort of latent inspiration on all of us. Kind of on the Occult Abyss, like we all kind of like Jub stuff.
Oh, of course. I think everyone loves Jub.
Yeah.
He's
I think
the best.
The first thing I watched from him was a long ass time ago. That was like probably the fucking Mallow Carpetan upload.
Oh damn!
It was like in the back when his episodes were in the double digits now.
I think Dan was like there from the beginning.
I found his stuff when he had 0 likes, 0 comments, 0 views.
Dan was the first view.
Jeez Louise.
I had showed Jub Total Vernic Tongue, and he knows me from that. So, once we started doing this, he had a reference. Oh, you're that guy. Okay.
He might recognize me. I used to comment on all his stuff all the time.
Oh yeah,
I think I think everybody remembers the Burzumgamecube name.
It's a good name, actually.
Yeah, it is a good name.
Oh, I was hoping I'd be able to get into the story about this.
Let's hear it.
How that came about. Okay, so it's like there was like a picture I saw of like a Turkish store, like a Turkish video game store. It was called Burzum PlayStation. I'm like, okay, so Burzumgamecube, but I'm pissed. Got it. So there we go. That easy.
Short and sweet.
Another thing that kind of helped out with it was one of those AVGN clone channels was the pissed off angry gamer. I don't know if anybody remembers this guy.
Yeah, he had the shit cube, Nintendo shit cube. That's right.
Yeah, that guy. This is the Nintendo shit cube. The reason why I hate it is because it's such a fucking piece of shit. And he throws it on the ground.
Well, he kind of reminded me of that boogie guy.
I don't think Burzum shit cube would help out with my search engine results though. I think that would probably like shadow ban me in some way. So.
Yeah, probably. I actually got a strike on this channel for fucking posting the Scablord cover. They're like, "Hey, no gruesome gore on the fucking YouTube."
I got no.
It's like, oh shit.
I got no strikes or anything on my channel so far. I'm surprised.
Yeah, that was the only one.
The Graham Belowski. I did get I did get an email from Lenroth from Sagnor Vallon, actually, who just asked me to take it down. I'm like, oh, sure, yeah, because he politely asked. I'm like, okay. He even had a salutation at the end of his email that let you know it was sent from his iPhone, but it translated from French to English in sent from my honor phone. It's literally what it meant. Sent
Yeah, I'd
from
seen,
my honor phone. I don't know what
yeah.
brand. Is that like a Huawei, like a Chinese phone, or is that like the phone they have in France, the fucking honor phone?
The honor phone. It's like the Obama phone. I don't know.
The Obama phone. Oh.
Yeah, I know they had live videos where they were asking those to be taken down too.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I don't know if he like disavows his music or what. I don't think he just likes it being on YouTube or something, which I can understand. That's like that's kind of like a sticking point. I don't know. It's not like he's being covetous about his music or anything. He just doesn't like it, which I can get that.
Yeah, dude. One thing I wanted to ask you was, or not ask you, but just bring up, with the Occult Abyss thing and Burzumgamecube, you guys had seemed to get a lot of notoriety, like almost immediately. You guys had a big audience, like right away.
Yeah.
Was that all from Instagram or what? Because I know Eric had a huge page. Is that why?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess it was because he had like a really big page.
Mm-hmm.
It was in like 13K or something. It's really big. And people just like shared it, and it just kind of spread through word of mouth.
So is he done with that? Because I feel like I haven't seen that page in a while.
Yeah, since like last April.
No, I think he's got a new page. I don't think I'll be able to open it up and look, because I mean, if I close like this right now, it's probably gonna like close the meeting or whatever this is. It's a new one. I'll send it to you after the show. I'll send you the ad. But we're probably still down to do Occult Abyss. I've never really talked to him about it, but it's totally something I'm down to do.
Well,
like
you used to upload those on your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, but it's all on Spotify.
Yeah.
Okay, so no more YouTube.
I think it's still up. If it's not still up, I don't know. I don't think I deleted them. I think I just like privated them or something. But I can still like
Yeah, I don't even see them at all on your channel.
Yeah, that's
but
yeah. If I put them up, they'd probably be like the most among the most popular things uploaded there. But
yeah, I would just primarily listen on Spotify. Yeah.
Personally, I don't really listen to podcasts on Spotify, but that's just me.
Yeah,
I do all my stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, same. Well, I got the YouTube Red. It's easier.
Oh, okay. Is it how much
no
is it a
ads.
month?
I think, dude, I don't even know. I think it's maybe like $10 or less. I don't even know.
Not too bad. Do you get TV on that?
I don't know if you get free movies with YouTube in general, but I don't know. I guess you get free. Well, you can close the damn app and you can just kind of do that.
Yeah, that was a.
Well, you can do that anyway. They made that free for everyone.
Did they really? Well, whatever. I don't want to watch no fucking ads.
They made the mini player free. I don't know about the.
No, because before, which made me.
I could see paying for music though. That'd be good, but for videos and stuff, like I don't really mind watching an ad. It's just like 10 seconds. Depends on the ad though.
Yeah, you had commented on the episode that we did with that dude Joe from Street Force and Obscene Liar, and you sort of liked his take on like heavy metal and things, and that's sort of what that's what was cool, is that you were a younger guy, and I don't know, you kind of appreciate all the old heavy metal shit.
Well, I can hear like a lot of like really evil shit in like heavy metal. Like you can understand, like you can still hear like, oh, this is where this riff idea came from or something like that. Like, have you listened to like the first Leatherwolf album? Like they were doing some really crazy technical shit for the time. They like had
I'm not sure.
They had like 3 guitarists on that album. Like I remember when I first saw the name, I'm like, this kind of sounds like Powerwolf, like a really shitty napalm gimmick band. But then I looked at like how long they've been around since, and they're like been around since like the early 80s. And I think they even like I think Metallica even opened for them. So I mean, it's like they've been around for a while. They kind of sound like Crimson Glory or Fifth Angel.
Oh, okay.
Like the real, like the '80s US power stuff is kind of like what I'm really into as far as heavy metal goes. But I also like a lot of like Euro thrash and stuff like that. Like the really like extreme stuff, or like the really extreme US and Canadian thrash, where it's like bordering on death metal stuff, like Morbid Saint. But I mean, it's like if you want to like really understand, like if you want to get like the full picture, you're gonna see some stuff in extreme metal that you wouldn't have seen if you're listening to like the old like heavy metal stuff. Like even like Venom or Mercyful Fate, like you can still hear that. Like I can still hear in like how Candlemass inspired some extreme bands, even the one on this episode. I mean, like holy shit, it's all over it. But like I can still see how they might have inspired like Asphyx, obviously, or like even Cyanide, or like Ripicaloo, or like the really slow death metal, or like even fucking Paradise Lost.
But it seems like bands now coming out now aren't going that far back. They're going to what was influenced. Like they're going to the Ripicaloos and stuff. They're going to
they're like missing it, but they're also like kind of diluting it with like a hardcore influence too.
Yeah, they're missing like, the whole the source.
They're missing like the lineage, sort of.
Yeah,
they're missing like this kind of like ancestry or something. I don't know how to put it.
It's like, oh, I went back to the '90s. That's far enough.
That's I think the three of us all...
That's like 30 years ago.
I think the three of us really don't care for the hardcore death metal.
No. $20 spin. Fuck no. Hell no. No.
Never seen my $20.
And like the new Gate Creeper. I was like talking with
hey, that one's actually pretty.
Serpent.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was hoping not. I was talking to the guy from Dungeon Serpent about this. Is like they're just like name dropping all this like really surface level mellow death that kind of just got like popular recently, and it's like you can't really hear it in the music though. You just kind of hear like hardcore stuff. But like hardcore also did like influence a lot of good death metal, but like not in like such an overt way. Like I can hear a shit ton of hardcore in like the first couple of Malevolent Creation albums.
Oh yeah.
Or anything like that.
Well, just anything like brutal death metal or New York.
Or like Bill Skirnier, where they kind of get in like the really like sort of percussive bits where he's like kind of rapping. Not really, but I don't know. It's just like a lot of death metal. Just kind of like another thing is Holder. The new Holder album kind of claimed to have a lot of Eternus influence, but like only in the most like facile aspects, and it just kind of sounds like what a person who just got into Eternus in like the past few months thinks Eternus sounds like.
Yeah, just taking the most obvious, like surface level things from a band,
and it just kind of sounds more like one of those like early thousands like East Coast or not East Coast, West Coast kind of sort of like folkish stuff.
I feel like a good Turing test with like bands is like whether or not they think Mortician or how they found Mortician through a meme or through actually just like listening to them.
I joke that it's okay to like Mortician again. now that the Pit Vipers thing is not in vogue anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, nobody really cares about that anymore, do they? No. Nobody gives a shit about Maggot Stomp anymore.
Finally.
Or at least people have like opened their eyes and now everybody hates Maggot Stomp. And then they made that sticker where it said Faggot Stomp, and then Maggot Stomp like reposted it. They're like, hey, look at these jokers. It's like, dude, you're obviously seething about it.
Yeah, not pissed. That's actually something that happened with this one $20 spin where they just started like, they just kind of started like seething about like people saying that their album is shit or whatever. It's like, I don't know, I think hardcore is like having a really undue influence on death metal recently. and on all sorts of metal. Like I can even hear it in the black metal now. And
Well, I think
not
it's
good.
just the musicians who are playing the newer death metal were listening to hardcore, and the hardcore
Mainly.
genres like deathcore and brutal death metal to an extent, and then coming into these other genres as like I think we were saying it earlier, like being a voyager or something, and just like making this music, and it's like not really influenced by the source of it, which comes back to heavy metal.
It's really overly reliant on aesthetics and presentation too, like with black metal.
Mm-hmm.
Like Worm is one of those bands that you can't really talk bad about. There's like kind of like an unspoken rule that you can't talk bad about Worm, but I'm going to talk bad about Worm.
Wait, when was that rule? Yeah, when was that rule established? We've been doing that.
they're like the one that everybody seems to like.
Yeah, they're probably the cream of the crop of that patch,
Yeah, and they're all right, but it's like recently in their new EP or album or whatever, they just like got really like overly kitschy with the 90s aesthetic, and it's like, look, there's like a reason why nobody does that anymore. It's because it looks goofy. Like with when there was that one guy in the 90s who wore the top hat on that one Dimmu album, like
right, yeah, anymore. It seems like that's what he's going for, but it wasn't a good look
now
then.
Like some like hardcore dude's gonna do that now, thinking it looks cool, and everybody's gonna be like, oh, it looks fucking awesome, dude. Like, no, dude,
never seen that before, dude. That's cool.
He's got the Ozzy Osbourne glasses and the top hat. Cool, brother.
Yeah, I think, yeah. When I listen to like a lot of black metal, it's like a lot of it you can't really find, like a lot of the stuff that I like, they either never really wore corpse paint or like you can't really find a photo of them at all. Like Sacramentum and Winterland are like profound, and they didn't wear corpse paint.
No, they kind of just dressed like Dismember did.
Yeah, they dressed like Dismember. They all like wore like fucking jean jackets and shit. Just like Swedish death metal guys, but they kind of were. And a lot of like the black metal people too are also like shitting on death metal, but I just think you kind of have to have that background, sort of.
I wonder what death metal they're shitting on, though. Like, if it's like the hardcore stuff, then I understand.
Basically, what I'm saying is you can't be dismissive about anything. You can't really be dismissive about the classics, because the classics are classic for a reason.
Yeah.
That's pretty much my approach, kind of. That's my perspective. And that's kind of why I liked the guy from Obscene Liar. That's why I liked his sort of ethos about it. And I think he kind of went at it through like an even more sort of intense approach. Like he said it in a prog sense too.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of the prog stuff sort of influenced new wave of British heavy metal anyways. Maybe not a whole lot of it, but there was like a handful of bands, maybe like Tosh or Saracen or something like that, where they're still taking influence from Yes and Genesis and things.
Yeah, stuff like Quartz, where it's like still kind of like picking up on prog's leavings, kind of.
Yeah. Well, dude, fucking Leatherwolf, that's new to me. I don't know who Leatherwolf is.
You gotta listen to the debut.
I always consider myself kind of in the know when it comes to like old heavy metal, but golly, I don't know. No, I don't. I do not know Leatherwolf. I know we were talking about Virtue. Savage Steel.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it, but it's like Savage Steel is like such a kind of blasé name that it's like anybody could use it. It's like Savage Grace or Steel Assassin or all this.
Well, that band sounds kind of weird. That song sounds kind of it's got an interesting
it kind of sounds like the early like first two Liege Lord albums, which I actually like better than Master Control. I think Master Control kind of sounds too like Iron Maiden-y, which Iron Maiden's good, but I mean it's like if I want to listen to Iron Maiden, I'm gonna listen to Iron Maiden.
I wanted to ask you too about some of the. So when it comes to your YouTube channel, how do you go about that? Do you like take releases that haven't been uploaded on YouTube, or do you just kind of upload whatever you feel like?
Eventually, I understand I'm probably gonna like reach a point or like a plateau or like a ceiling where it's like, okay, all this stuff that I uploaded is basically already there.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of just gonna want to like upload some stuff that I don't see too often, but I just kind of want a bit more exposure on. Like I'm also I kind of want to branch out into maybe some like obscure heavy metal stuff or some death metal stuff too. Maybe even eventually some goth stuff, which I'd like to do. And I don't really see like any protestation against it. I mean, it's like, who's going to be against that? Why would you be against that?
No, I guess, I mean, if there's a channel that you follow that has like one good release, they're going to look at the other, videos and see some good stuff
Yeah.
there. Because I was
really
looking
just
through...
upload just for my own sake, just so I can like listen to it.
Yeah, yeah. One that you uploaded that I wasn't familiar with was that Soren band. That was really cool. I forget what the name of that band even is.
It sounds like really. You said it sounds jammy, and that's kind of like that really made me put the puzzle together because it kind of sounds like Crystal Age or like kind of atheist, circa Peace and Time Gone Death or black metal sort of. Or
Yeah,
kind of like grotesque, where they're playing like really rudimentary riffs, but it sounds more technical than it really is because the drumming is just so crazy.
Yeah, well, Soren seems to be almost like basically a power metal band. Even by the time of the second album, which is probably the best one, that one's just a fucking classic. But that one totally has the heavy metal.
Yeah, I've listened to it
bass.
so many times. I've been like listening to it almost for as long as I've been into black metal. And I don't know, it's like it seems like the first one is the one I've like come to love the most recently, but I can understand how the second one would be the best because I mean it's like so unique. Like they arrive at a similar conclusion that like Niflheim did, but it just sounds so much more serious and different.
I think that's a really good point. That Niflheim, maybe they aren't as serious as people take them to be, because their music is cool. Their music is fine.
Definitely not.
No, their music is. I've seen them. Yeah, I know what they look like. I know the brothers.
Yeah.
No, but I think the point of what I was getting at is like they're one of these bands that like everybody maybe feels like they have to like, but something like Soren is so much better than Niflheim in my opinion too.
I love the first Niflheim album because John Notveit and Peter Palmdahl, the other Dissection guitarist, they were session musicians for that album, and it's kind of like sort of like maybe the somber lane with some like speed metal aesthetics, and that's kind of why I like it.
I think Niflheim kind of just became a caricature of themselves. That's the problem.
Yeah, and I'm seeing like a lot of stuff for like Hell Butcher's solo band, and it's like I'm probably gonna like it, but I don't know. It seems like a bit too cheesy, which I can understand.
So you actually uploaded the Ouroboros album too, and that's incredible because that's probably one of the best metal albums. That's probably a top tier for me.
I think
the Spear of Destiny.
I think the thing that led me to that was actually your Axis Advance episode or whatever it was, where I heard that name mentioned, and I'm like, shit, if I want to hear more stuff that sounds like Axis, I'm gonna have to check this out, and I did. So I'm like, shit, I'll upload it. I don't see it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I think it's only in the playlist, I think. But yeah, you got your video.
Something I can hear, like faintly, in Axis of Advance is like Frozen Shadows, maybe, but that's kind of pushing it because they're like an Emperor style band, but they blast so fucking intensely because they're Canadian, and they were also like friends. They were also friends with Lord Worm from Cryptopsy, so. They're kind of like Emperor for Axis of Advance fans.
I think it's like anyone's guess that what Axis of Advance was actually influenced by, because there's so much that could be in those riffs just like compacted together.
Oh, it's crazy! Like it's Yeah, their influences are like totally their own. You can't say they're just like a goat this, goat that, red, black, and white war metal band. They're like so much more than that. And war
You didn't
metal is
hear
like
me-
also another trend recently.
Yeah,
Where it's like
you didn't
way
hear.
overly aesthetic.
You haven't heard me and Paul's band, have you?
I've heard it. I've seen a lot of stuff for it, but I've got to check it out because I think I've seen Axis of Advance and like other sort of like similar sounding bands mentioned in passing to it. Is that right?
Yeah,
In comparison?
we kind of took the idea of like every genre of metal, but shove it together so hard, and then
That's
call
kind
it
of
war metal.
that's kind of like the only way to do it. Like that's how bands did back in the day. That's kind of how you do it now. Like
Yeah, but you
Well,
just
as a person who came in from the outside and hadn't heard Galicia before, it's the closest band I've really heard to Sacramentary Abolishment or Axis that I've really heard since they came out. So it
shilling ourselves here.
Making me freaking blush over here.
yeah, I'm allowed to. It's fine.
Well, he mentioned it. I feel like I would be doing a disservice if I didn't say, hey, dude, check us out because we actually did that.
who's in the Warriors Chalice band? Because I listened to that. And I
Oh,
actually
that's
really
me
liked
and Paul.
it. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Was Solstice an influence on that?
No.
Which one?
Doomsword. Yeah, all of the
Doomsword?
Warriors Chalice, all of the
Doomsword-
Warriors Chalice
Doomsword
releases
maybe.
are completely different.
Yeah, I could hear like maybe a bit of Solstice, but like Doomsword, I can definitely hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, Doomsword for sure. We're listening the fuck out of
Doomsword's
that.
great.
Doomsword and Isengard. I've never really been a
Falkenback.
Solstice guy. Yeah, Falkenback too, big one.
Solstice is like one of those bands where it's like there's two bands with the same name in different countries, not like the U.S. Solstice and the U.K. Solstice.
Yeah. There's the one with Rob Barrett, fucking Cannibal Corpse. That one's good too.
Mm-hmm.
That was a little bit more hardcore. It's like it
Yeah,
almost
that's
sounds like
like
Pantera to me.
yeah, that's something I said where it's like kind of like malevolent creation where there's like a latent hardcore influence on it, but it's like kind of like that groovy death thrash sort of like kind of like maybe like Exhorder sort of.
Yeah, totally. Ripping Corpse kind of did that sort of thing too, I think.
I like to say that Ripping Corpse is like hidden new metal.
Is what?
Hidden new metal.
Somewhat. I mean, even more so
Like on
for
that one track,
the post
on
band
that one
Dim
track,
Mak.
Anti-God. He's like basically fucking rapping. Like holy shit.
Yeah, he did that kind of stuff.
Also, if you I was listening to one of their concerts like a week or two ago, and I heard some guy scream out the N-word with a hard R.
Oh, cool.
It was right before Rift of Hate, and this guy just like without a moment's hesitation just like screams it out, like that was his CIA trigger phrase or something.
Yeah. The fucking what do you call that? I keep forgetting the name of that fucking
MK Ultra.
the MK Ultra. Yeah, that's his MK
Yeah.
Ultra phrase.
The Ripping Corpse is a great band. I don't know if I told you about like the Ripping Corpse shirt rabbit hole where there's like a bunch of bands wearing like plain white shirts with like the Ripping Corpse logo on it in the 90s. That's like usually that's one way to find good bands is like see if they're
you
wearing
did.
that shirt.
I know you mentioned Suffocation. I don't remember what
Yeah,
what other bands were wearing
Suffocation.
Ripping
So far,
Corpse
like the first
t-shirts.
ones that come to my mind are Suffocation, Revenant, Invocator, and Demigod. So those are what I've got for the Ripping Corpse rabbit hole. Maybe Wyatt can do one of those where it's a Ripping Corpse iceberg.
Yeah, you can do some research.
Mm-hmm.
Were you gonna say something, Fred? I thought I heard you breathe.
I don't breathe. I'm a vampire.
He's alive.
Oh, okay.
He's Canadian. Canadians don't breathe. Everybody knows it.
They breathe through their gills.
That's how we
which
tolerate
part
the
of
cold.
Canada? Which part of Canada? Are you east
Oh,
or west?
Southern Ontario. We're not in the cold part.
Oh, so you're a fish man. You got gills.
Fish boy.
You're like living in the Innsmouth of Toronto. The gills.
Really.
You know, I was chatting with Death Metal shit posting, and he sent me a meme where it's like people in Canada say, you know, you Americans don't know what cold is like, but most of them are from like Southern Ontario, which is like further south than parts of the States, anyways.
Does
And
everybody
it's
say
true.
buddy over there?
No, I have not heard that in years.
Huh. That's
We
been
do say A lot. That's a thing.
Well, of course, everybody does that. Yeah.
But other than that,
Or do you
no,
think
no,
we
no.
should get?
I don't. I don't leave my igloo enough to hear all the slang these days.
Do you think we should start getting into the Bewitched section or what?
I mean, it's only been an hour.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, whatever you guys want.
Okay.
So what did you guys think about it? Did you like it or what? Because I've never seen this band really mentioned anywhere.
Oh, I loved it.
Neither have I.
Yeah, the first time hearing it, and I loved it immediately. First track was just like big green flag of this is gonna be a good album, and then you listen further and further of it,
because it's
and
like
it goes
it's
into
like,
a completely different direction.
It's like the perfect sort of opening track because it kind of opens you up to like all the weirder stuff that they get into because it sounds like more of like kind of like Emperor sort of at the beginning.
Yeah.
But then it's like if you start to like hear like all these vocal parts come in, and there's like this one like thrashing riff, like halfway through where this guy starts like hitting the ride cymbal, like the Lombardo ride cymbal. It's like the most like profound moment on that album. It's such a cool track. And it's like such an unfortunate thing too because there's the Swedish Bewitched, who I'm not too much of a fan of. Because I don't know, they just sound like Venom, pretty much.
Well, they sound better than Midnight.
Yeah.
Not a high bar.
They don't wear hoods. There's that. Too many hooded bands nowadays.
Yeah, no more hoods.
Yeah. Like there's a Portuguese band, Giria, who are on Season of Mist or something, and they have like this like thing where you can like pay to meet the band, and it's like what the fuck? Why would you pay to meet some dudes in hoods? Holy shit!
Bro, J-Dog talks a shit about fucking Dying Fetus for doing that. I can't imagine anything more underground.
Yeah, talk about bad hardcore influence in death metal. Good God.
Well, J-Dog does the paid screwoonies.
That's true.
I'm trying. Yeah, he's kind of giving into that. But I'm trying to remember how I came to know Bewitched. It's weird. I'm trying to remember. I was like really into. It was like early on in my development, sort of, where like my two favorite heavy metal bands were Mercyful Fate and Candlemass, and I just kind of like looked for similar stuff.
Perfect nexus.
So so I just found like this band totally by accident. I don't even remember how.
They're named after a Candlemass song.
They're named after a Candlemass song. They also like the only two bands they ever cover are Candlemass and Bewitched.
Yeah, I kind of like their cover. It sounds like by the books, but it's actually pretty good. It's better to hear it in the raw way.
There's one comp too where they also covered they cover three bands actually. They also covered King Diamond. Ha ha ha. It was a song off Fatal Portrait. They covered Dressed in White. That's the song. You never. I don't see that cover, but it's probably like one of my favorite King Diamond songs. They covered that. So, but
yeah, dude in the band photo wearing Mercyful Fate. The other guy zipped up.
Yeah, they were on, and it doesn't really sound a lot like a Chilean metal, especially like Chilean metal for the time. One Chilean band I'm thinking of from the same period is probably Tottencorp.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you post them. They're so fucking cool.
Now you're speaking Fred's lingo, Ringo.
Mm-hmm. That album, like I came to know them through Importation because they had that weird like low effort split, that whatever the label was, where it's like one of those really like shitty. Yeah, it's like one of those shitty splits where it's just like
Well, no, I think it was
albums put
Blacken
together.
that issued the split, but the original two were on
Yeah.
Repulse. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a compilation of their Jagosha and the Farnheim album. It's like,
Yeah.
I love how every single song title is just like so like occult and overly verbose with its nomenclature. It's all over the place.
Yeah.
But I remember like one song on it. I think it was Imperator of the Black Abyss. Holy shit!
Mm-hmm.
Like the riff. I don't know if you know which one I'm talking about, but it's like this Phrygian riff where it's like the most Nile thing that Nile has never been written by Carl Sanders' like stubby T-Rex hands.
Saurian.
Yes, where it's like dana 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 dana. That one. It's like, it's so good.
Yeah, the whole album fucking smokes.
I don't think this was put out by the same label. I think the label was Pico Roco Records, was the Chilean label that put out most of the early Bewitched stuff.
Yeah, that's how I found Bewitched myself back in the day through.
Oh,
Pico
so you
Roco,
did already know them?
Yeah, because they
Red
put
knows
out
everything.
The Pentagram compilation and the YouTube Cool album. So I was a huge fan of both those bands, and I looked through what Pico Roco had released, and that's how I found out about these guys. I hadn't listened to them very heavily before. This is the most I've actually listened to them, because I found them back when I was, well, this must have been like 20 years ago at this point. But and at that point I was looking for death metal and black metal. So when I heard these guys, I was like, all right, cool, whatever, and kind of just moved on. Going back and listening to them now, I'm in a much better place to appreciate it. So
which
good
album?
Back then,
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember.
Was it like more of a black metal or a heavy metal sound or a doom metal sound?
No, I think I probably heard this one because I remember just thinking, this is not really my thing. I know their earlier stuff is a bit more straightforward,
this
blackish sort of thing.
Yeah, this is like the one, like the first three albums from Hibernum in Perpetuum to Dragonflight to Somewhere Beyond the Mist.
Mm.
It's like a trilogy to me. I don't think it was what they were going for, but it's like each one kind of airs on a different sort of facet of the band's sound, where it's like this kind of combination between black metal, doom metal, and just like straight up heavy metal. I don't know where the ambient tag comes from, because I've like listened to every single Bewitched album. I bought everything like on CD as soon as I like listened to it. I'm like, wow, this band like fucking clicks with me. So I just like immediately bought everything, and yeah, it's like each one kind of just like airs on a different facet of that sound, where it's like on Hibernum and Perpetuum, it's like a more of like a kind of doom metal album.
Yeah, I heard more like heavy metal in that one, and then they kind of strayed away from that with the second album.
And then Dragonflight is like just straight up just like fucking heavy sort of power metal with like blackish vocals layered over it, where this one is like kind of like Emperor type fare, especially on the first track. But it's like everything is kind of even on this one. And this is like also one of the last albums where they had like a full lineup. Everything after this was like Dumicus and some other guy named Iran Evil. So it's like this one is like the most of a sort of ensemble sound, especially with the drummer. Like the drummer does some crazy good shit on the first track, like that fucking ride cymbal. I love that part. But on Dragonflight, Alex Kurtagic, the guy who did the art for Stormblast from Dimmu Borgir and Troll and some other stuff too, also did the artwork for that. So I thought it was like an interesting kernel. And the only live footage.
Supernal Records, isn't he?
Yes, yeah, he does.
Yeah,
a speech
if I remember correctly, I remember reading that they were on the one of their compilations too. So that's
he's got some interesting views.
Yep. Sure does.
The final album they did is where like their sort of political leanings come the most to the fore, where they still have the kind of heavy metal like Mercyful Fate influence, but they also have this like weird like sort of 2018 alt-right Alex Kurtagic speech overlaid over it. And there's also literal like sound effects from the Twin Towers going down too, so it's like this really weird clash. It's like the most authentic band I've ever heard since fucking Graveland.
And a black sun on the cover. Oh my. Yeah, that's,
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
That feels out of left
yeah,
field.
I think I hid that in the upload. I think in my upload.
No, it's there.
I think I
saw
hid
it.
Oh shit. Better take that down.
Nah, you're good. You're good. It's hidden in the fire.
But
It's all over now.
yeah. Yeah, I think
No,
he
sorry.
even like on this album in the album notes or something, I think he even like names a certain tribe of people too. So straight from the beginning they had some very interesting views. He's naming them. But I don't know,
The
that's kind of
Cherokee
way it
tribe.
goes sometimes. Yeah, that's how it goes
Cherokee tribe.
sometimes. That's how it goes sometimes. I mean, fucking Dimmu Borgir, Storm Blast was on No Colors. I mean, it's like shit. It's
For all
you gotta eat
titles
your
and no colors.
vegetables too. You gotta eat your vegetables too sometimes. But yeah, I think in the liner notes too, they also said that like the label wanted them to go in like a gothic doom direction, like Anathema or something.
Well, I was
Or,
seeing
My
that
Dying
like
Bride.
in an interview, they were saying that Holy Records was gonna sign them, but that was a condition that they wanted to have them in that more
Holy
gothic doom direction, and that's why
Does
they
Band
stuck with the
Within
other
is-
one.
It would have totally fit
That's
though.
interesting. That's interesting because I think I might have heard like Tristitia mentioned
Yeah.
at one point in relation to this, because they are a Holy Records band. I know that.
Can you guys hear me chewing chips?
Yeah, it's
A little
annoying.
bit,
No,
No.
I'm just kidding.
No,
You can't hear it?
Yeah, we
No.
can hear it.
Oh!
keep on chewing. Let him chew. Let him chew.
I fucking I cracked open a bag of. It says Lay's Cuban sandwich flavor. It kind of does taste like a
What
fucking
even-
pork
It'd
sandwich.
be
What
better
even
if it
is a
was.
Cuban sandwich?
It was gonna be better if it was Chilean flavored.
The Chilean sandwich.
Yeah, that
Oh
one.
yeah, the Chilean flavor. Oh, my mistake. I should have got that instead.
Chilean band, Chilean sandwich. These guys, I think they even said in like interviews that they said that like Chile's landscapes were like an influence for their sound because I guess they're in like a mountainous part of Chile where it's like really snowy, so they're kind of in like
Yeah, I
the
think-
Andes sort of.
I think what interview I read, it was the guy was like, hey, like it's kind of weird that a Chilean band's lyrics are about frost and the cold and whatnot, and then he's
Yeah.
like, Europeans are so ignorant of their geography, like we're over here in the snow and in a high
had,
altitude than like Europe. Like it's shit.
They had a member from Germany, so and some of the members even went on to like more prolific bands, or kind of more prolific bands. Like there was one of their drummers went on to let me see. He went on to form Heteroartzen and Die Kunst der Finsternis, who were like a more recent band. They kind of
George
sound
are
like
cool.
Cult de Ghoul. Yeah, they kind of sound like Cult de Ghoul or Mortuary Drape, sort of, or like a Negative Plane type of band. But there's like they use Norwegian in a lot of their song titles on the early stuff. They even did a split with fucking Fun Cunt, if you've heard of those guys.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, those guys
Dan,
are
have
fucking
you-
awesome.
Dan, have
I
you
didn't
heard
know
of-
that.
Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Fun con. Yeah, dude, I've liked them for fucking ever.
Yeah, because they're like a sort of like the crate, like they're on the weird ass of Finnish death metal.
Yeah.
They're on,
I
like,
think
the
that's
kinda, like,
the
carbonized grungy
style I
stuff.
probably most know of is like the Finnish death metal shit. But yeah, Fun Cunt's pretty.
Yeah, the
pretty
Fin
wacky
death,
stuff.
the Fin death I know is like stuff in like the Pertinence, like Ripikaloo or Convulse or stuff like that.
Not the
Yeah,
death and roll
but-
Yeah, there's like a
convulso,
whole
right?
nother
Yeah,
side with
Nomicon.
the guys. Yeah, there's like a whole nother side with
Yeah, you
Nomicon
put,
and
yeah,
like
fucking
Skeptical Schizo
Nomicon.
and shit like that.
Yeah, I saw you
Yeah,
posting
Nomicon and
Nomicon.
Skeptical Skits are pretty good. Yeah, because I
Lavra.
upload stuff I want to listen to, and Namiko is one of those. What else to talk about with this album?
Well,
Who's doing the dishes?
let's listen to a track by them, and then we can talk about more. So, you picked
Riff on
the
that.
first track, right? Or
Yeah.
Sons of Satan.
all right, we'll be right back. back from listening to the first track.
That sucked.
Damn!
What were some
God.
names that popped to your mind when you heard that?
Legacies Unchained.
Besides what was that?
Annihilator.
Yeah, like
Legacies
besides the
Unchained.
obvious Candlemass, Mercyful Fate. But if we're gonna say Candlemass, I think like maybe Tales of Creation, because that's the one where they got kind of like speed metal-ish, sort of. Like,
I don't know if it
that's
was
the
a
most power
production, but
metal
I heard Swedish melodic death metal in there. Melodic death in black.
one. Really?
Yeah, I don't know. But
Like which bands?
I don't know, like parts, like slower parts, I guess, of Dawn, Sacramentum, things like that.
Yeah. That's interesting. Because I love those bands, but those never really popped in my mind. Like I kind of had more of like a Norwegian sort of style. Maybe
Maybe it's more in the production than
maybe-
the actual songwriting. I don't know, but that's
Yeah.
just what popped
songwriting
into my
wise,
head.
I can kind of hear like a lot of like Emperor circa like anthems, or maybe like some limbic art, maybe obtained enslavement, but they're like sort of on this album, like this is probably their most sort of like really kind of, I don't know, commercial friendly black metal, for like a lack of a better word, because they kind of got more like straight up just like kind of raw black metal on the later ones, where it just kind of sounds like Moonblood, sort of. Or not like as raw as Moonblood, but it's like as minimalist as Moonblood.
More accessible.
But, yeah.
It is funny though how this track kind of sets the tone for the album, but really doesn't give you a good preview of what the rest of the album is going to sound like.
Yeah, it
They don't
pulls
really
a-
return to this. Like
On the
someone
second
just
track,
listening to this, be like, "Oh, this is gonna be some sweet black metal." Then you go to the next song, you're like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
yeah, when you like look at like the New Dawn of Middle Earth and Stargazer and fucking Mercyful Fate, like hello, like once you like listen to the riffs on that, like those are like the ones that are going to be like the kind of the test is whether like this band's gonna click with you or not.
Yeah.
Because like the
But I
first
think
once
you get past it and actually listen to the whole thing as a whole for what it is a great album, but it does throw you for a loop when you hear that first song.
It was funny because when you
It's-
first picked this album, I was like, "Oh, another Doom album." But then the first track comes and, Bane switches me, and then
Facts.
it comes back to being Doom, and then I'm like, "Oh fuck, this is actually
It's
a
not,
good take
it's
on
not-
Doom."
It's not perfect. It's got like some uneven parts too. Like I'm trying to remember which song it is, where like he does this like really annoying vocal part, or I think I think it's on side A, but he does like this like really kind of like, it sounds like fucking Proscriptor from Abzu rapping, and it sounds so bad, but it's like the only sort of sagging part on this album, where like the rest of it's just great. It's got like they do one of my favorite things too, where they do a cover song midway through the album, so they're really going to go all out on it too, or it's not like a B-side or something that's like a hidden track.
Dang, Fred feels the opposite of that, huh?
No.
Hey, how do you feel about having the cover there?
Pet peeve city. I mean, it still bothers me, but at least it's a fairly well done cover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But like,
it's not like
it's
not-
always going to bother me when it's a song I can recognize in the middle of an album that song doesn't belong on. And like, I always cite Obituary's Cause of Death as like the prime offender, because like, as good as that cover is, sticking in the middle of the album just like takes me right the fuck out of the whole thing. And I was like, wait, this isn't Obituary I'm listening to anymore. And this, I think, fit more closely in with what the rest of the album sounds like, so it didn't bother me as much. But still, like, put the covers at the end, guys. I don't know who needs to hear this, but put the cover at the end. Just put the cover at the end.
It's not the best cover, where it's like, I think more people know the Dissection cover of fucking Elizabeth Bathory than the actual Tormentor song.
Oh my
Do you
god,
think
they
you
butchered
heard
though.
that? Yeah, it's kind of like the preeminent version of it.
The riff the way they play the riff, it just sounds so. It's so much more fluid on the original. On the dissection cover, it's more like segmented, almost like I don't know what word I'm looking for here, but it almost sounds more mechanical. Whereas on the original, it's just so much more free flowing. It bothers me. It's
Yeah, it's
not a
such
bad
a
cover. If I had to listen to it, I wouldn't complain. But it
it's hard to replicate.
better than the
Because
original? No, no.
it's hard to replicate because the original just sounds like it's falling apart at the seams. All those riffs, like there's a reason why it was influential on stuff like Negative Plane, stuff like
Well,
that.
it's really similar to the covers I've heard of Det Samengangvar, where that opening riff is just so bouncy and fluid in the original, but other bands that try to pull it off, wind up making it sound choppy. And it doesn't mean it did it poorly, it just doesn't have
Have
the same
you
flow to it.
have you mentioned Enya before? I think I've heard Enya mentioned on this podcast.
Oh yeah, Fred has for sure.
Yeah,
I've mentioned Enya?
Mm-hmm.
I have?
I
Okay.
think I've
Yeah, really
I swear
early
to God,
on.
I've heard. Yeah.
On the Ripping Flesh
Okay.
episode you did.
Yeah.
Okay, because Bewitched did cover Enya, but that's like kind of on their more ambient stuff. But it's just a cover. I thought that
That's
was
cool.
interesting. They also covered Falkenbach and Covenant too. They don't have like perfect covers, but they're like some really interesting bands to cover.
I remember Steve Hughes, the Australian guy that was in Slaughterlord. I think it was Slaughterlord or Mortal
The
Sin.
comedian.
Yeah, and he had a bit about someone during
Was he
I
in
think one of his sets.
Nazgul?
He was in Nazgul at some point, yeah.
I think he was in
And-
Mortal Sin too.
He was talking about some guy who said, "I hate Enya." He's like, "Hating Enya is really strong. It's like silence colored in."
I knew there was a comedian in Nazgul. I didn't know he was also in Slaughterlord. Oh shit.
I think he was in Slaughterwood.
Explains. Yeah, I'm looking right now. It explains why Nazgul is so good.
I
Yeah.
don't think he played a big part in Nazgul, though. I could be wrong, though. It's been a while since I read.
No, he did
Members.
drums. He did drums on the Totem and Black Seed. Those are
No,
like
I mean, like,
drums
I don't know
that
how much
everybody
he was involved in the writing. I know he was. I
Oh,
know he was on there, but either way, like the stuff he's done he's done some really good stuff.
yeah. But do you like what are some other like sort of like non-black metal bands that you hear in this?
I was telling Paul that I heard fucking Annihilator, especially the title
Yeah,
track, The Hells
Annihilator.
of Hell, for sure. I was also sort of thinking Sabotage too, even with the slower stuff. Because it's funny, it's like when Paul was when you gave us this album, Paul looked it up. He's like, "Oh, doom metal," and it seems like all of our guests have picked doom. Maybe because they think it's gonna throw us for a loop. It's like, I'm gonna do something they didn't expect, doom. But everybody has like the same idea to do that.
Sabotage is a good name. Like which Sabotage? Like which album?
Probably the little bit of Sirens, and then for sure the Hall of the Mountain King. There's a lot of like big riffs like that.
Yeah. I'm thinking like more of like Vicious Rumors or like really like late 80s going into the 90s, like the faster.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
almost
It sort of
bordering
has
on
the
thrash.
yeah. It sort of has the like prog power metal 80s kind of thing, where like you were saying, Heir Apparent, maybe like Sanctuary or Hellstar or something like that. I think
Hellstar.
definitely fucking Metal Church, like
Yeah.
especially this song sounds like Battalions a little bit.
Yeah. Trying to think. Have you seen the live video they did?
Yeah, their singer sort of reminds me of Dio.
Yeah, he looks a lot like Dio. Yeah, they were opening for Dimmu Borgir. Apparently, I thought they were opening for Colombian Inquisition, but no, it was the Chilean Inquisition. But that would have been interesting.
I mean, you could probably say Queensryche too, like the really early Queen of the Reich shit.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
That and like the Lady Wore Black.
I guess like it's I think like the Candlemass and Mercyful Fate, like those were mostly like the vocal parts that those were influencing. I think like the instrumentals and stuff like that, I think that was just like more of like the members just like picking out their own stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
because like this is the last album they did is like a full band. They had like two. After this, it was just like two guys.
Yeah, it seems like they understand where black metal is at this point because it's it's pretty late. It's 2000, but at least for this first song, I'm mostly hearing like 80s fucking metal and not really too much else. I did want to mention Psy at some point.
I can hear that.
Maybe that might have to do with like some of the later tracks. Even the vocal, some of the backing vocal performances remind me of shit that Psy would do on like Gallows Gallery or like Hangman's Hymn or something like that.
Yeah, I'm trying to look through the booklet right now, see if like I can find any interesting stuff because I think they mentioned the Norwegian scene and stuff like that. No, I don't see anything. Another band that was on Picarocco was Dominus Zool. That's like a really fucking cool
I think you mentioned them on another video. I checked them out. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I said
Utu
Cool before. I meant Dominus Cool. They were awesome.
Yeah, like a really evil,
like
sort of.
It's like Incantation unhinged.
Yeah, and the vocals and the lyrics are like all over the place. They're like fucking magic and shit.
Yeah, it's a fucking great album.
What were your picks?
I think we're gonna go with track 2, right?
Yeah, is that the one you picked? Because I was stuck in between 7 and that track.
Yeah, let's go with the second one because that one kind of threw me for a loop. I didn't expect this sort of power metalish thing.
Such a welcome change. The second song, The New Dawn of Middle Earth. We'll be right back. Alright, we're back from listening to the second track, whatever it's called.
Yeah, we're not sure what it's called,
Stargazer?
but it's slow and I guess it's Stargazer.
Stargazer, according to Chilean metal.
Well, yeah, if that's the case, yeah.
The vocals at the end kind of remind me of that Russian band Scald. Although
Yeah,
given
dude, so
the-
fucking right on.
the vocalist from Scald is a lot better, though I will say.
He's trying, man.
It's like it is like Scald in the sense where like the vocalist is like he doesn't sound too classically. He's not like fucking Jeff Tate classically trained or anything like that. Like he's just some fucking amateur just like putting his fucking all into it.
Yeah.
Fred, you know what this sounds like too? It sounds like that Swedish band I brought up to you before, Sorcerer. Not just with the vocals, but with the fucking
The
instrumentation
Swedish
too.
one.
Yeah, the Swedish Sorcerer.
Yeah, the demos. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
There's some like interesting prog moments on here where there's like a lot of starting riffs that kind of go into like these weird sort of lead things. That sort of reminded me of I don't know if you guys know who this band is. They're called Christ with a Y, from Austria. It says avant-garde black metal.
Christ.
And then I guess some of the other like guitar techniques sort of remind me of Alf Svensson from At the Gates, but his other project, that fucking alien one with Oxyplatus or whatever.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. I've heard of the other band called Corrovakill.
Yeah, I think Corrovakill and Christ are pretty much the same.
But I can see
band.
Like how on that weirdo sort of spectrum of Austrian like avant-garde stuff, like we can kind of sort of fit into that. Like, would you say maybe Abigor would be a apt comparison?
You know, you'd have to ask Fred. I'm not the hugest, not the biggest Abigor guy.
Because I'm a big Abigor guy too.
I don't necessarily hear a ton of it, but
no,
I mean, I guess it depends on the aspects. But
on the first one, I would say that they kind of sound a bit like Verwolfstung, but like mostly in kind of aesthetic choices.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it anything more than that. I didn't hear too much of that in there.
Yeah, but it's kind of like where later emperors started getting like better at their instruments, and they kind of got more techy with stuff. Where they kind of like started experimenting with like maybe even on Prometheus, where they started like experimenting with like these stuttery sort of like proggy riffs. I think this was 2000, so that did predate Prometheus, didn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think Prometheus is 2003.
Yeah, I think it was like 2003, 2005. So this was like pretty early as far as like really kind of like proggish stuff.
Well, that's what I like about this too, is that it's not totally overrun with like these prog rock kind of sentencings. It's more kind of just traditional doom. Like when I heard some of the prog rock shit, I was thinking like Watchtower, but I feel like that might be a little bit too on the nose or off the nose. I don't know.
I can see Watchtower and like they're more like straightforward songs. Like there's songs.
Yeah, maybe even like the earliest Watchtower, like what the fuck was the name of that original one? God, what the fuck was the name of that original Watchtower? I think it was called like.
Do you guys like Confessor?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I could never get into Confessor.
No.
Oh, Meltdown is what I was thinking of.
No, I don't know. Maybe it's just a me thing.
Nah, dude, I've told Paul before.
Yeah,
It's
it
so
took you
hard
a
for me
while
to
to
get
get
into
into
Confess.
that, right?
I'm still not totally into it. I
Maybe
don't.
I really need to try because I'm trying to think of like another band that I really had to try and they finally clicked. But it's not really.
Yeah, I still have a hard time with Confessor.
Damn,
Oh,
your Confessor
Fanisk,
confessions.
Yeah, man.
Fanisk was another band that took me a while to get into, where it just like sounded
Yeah,
too
fair enough.
kind of too saccharine, too like happy, too majestic, and I mean
Who
once
did
you
you
like
say?
really start to understand, no, not fucking Confessor, Fanisk, the U.S. sort of like almost kind of symphonic-ish black metal. Have you heard of them?
I don't know. I think I'm
Fanisk?
hearing the name Fanisk?
Yeah,
Yes,
Fanisk.
Fanisk.
Is this the band with the swastika and the bird? Oh yeah, it is.
I don't think they have a swastika. Do they have a swastika?
Yeah, on Noontide they have a swastika there.
Oh, disavow. Oh, they're also on Supernal. Oh,
It got
speaking of
censored out
Supernal,
in the subsequent versions.
how about that
I don't know. Maybe I have to check this out. I know.
How about that anti-Geldof compilation from Supernal?
Oh God.
Talk about that's a great cover.
Somebody
and
edited
and Bewitched is on there too, isn't they?
Were they?
somebody edited the Fanisk album cover with a peace sign on YouTube.
Yeah, that's the one I've seen.
Oh, the happy face like on
Bewitched.
Dishermer.
Yeah, on the
Bewitched
flag of the
was-
Disturmer album is a happy face.
I
That's right.
can't get behind. I can't get behind Disturmer.
Their Sturmer, the second album, fucking rules, dude.
Oh man,
It's good. It sounds like Goat
it's been a
Penis,
while.
dude.
It's been
Yeah, it's
a
almost
while,
war
but-
metal. It's like
It is
random.
war metal. It's total
Maybe
like
that's-
Brazilian style war metal.
Yeah,
It is
maybe
awesome.
that's why. Maybe that's why.
No, but it's Brazilian style war metal. It's dope.
Yeah,
You know,
Brazilian,
for
I can get
what
it.
it's worth, my favorite stuff of theirs is all live material. Like I think they really bring it live on record. I think the songs have good bones, but they don't capture that energy on the albums. But when you hear them playing live, it's a total different beast.
Well, I told you about when they
Fanatic is
fucking.
like a band that
when they-
sounds good in studio, but once you like see them live, it's like you basically made it. Have you guys seen Pro Fanatic live?
No, but they're coming around.
They were
no,
fine
we
to
did
me.
see Demon Sea live a couple times.
That'd be fun.
You haven't lived until you've seen Pro Fanatic live. So fucking good.
Yeah, they are coming to town, aren't they? I wanted to see them.
Yeah, they're coming.
And so
Actually,
is Sabbath.
when
Sabbath's
I-
coming to town too.
Yeah.
When I saw them, they played shit. Oh my god, what's the name of the fucking big song? This is their Breaking the Law. This is their Hammer Smash Face. This is
Is
like
it Fuck the Blood of the Lamb?
No.
That's Looping in Heaven, isn't it?
No, it's
I don't
off their comeback album.
We're back.
Yeah, the one with the DB. Like their first comeback album, not like the one that just came out. Shit. We can leave this. It was up Pro Fanaticus Demonatio, whatever it's called. Oh, Unto Us He Was Born. That one. Yeah. They played that and that was that was great.
Them playing live
But,
is the only video I have posted on my YouTube account.
For good reason. But
Shit
so
video,
were
though.
you
Good
like
audio.
hearing the same stuff as you heard in the first song on this one, or like what are some other things on this second Bewitched song?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really sound 80s anymore. I mean, it does sound 80s, but not. I mean,
Not like
maybe you still.
Annihilator, like you said.
No. I mean, maybe you still hear the Sabotage shit, but it's way fucking slower, I guess. Yeah. What the fuck can we say about that Doom stuff there? Maybe a very slow version of Virgin Steel or something. Oh, you know what it kind of sounds like a little bit, dude? It sounds
Virgin
like.
Steel, have you heard their new vocals?
No.
It's fucking hot in here. It's so bad. The guy sounds like a fucking cheetah getting fucked up the ass. It's so terrible. The first like couple Virgin Steel albums up until like the early '90s were so good, but like that vocalist fucking, it's tough. It's not like a Jeff Tate situation where he went crazy. It's like a fucking his voice gave out all the fucking way.
You know what this else? It kind of reminds me of a little bit too. Is like Broke His Helm, or like that Lordian Guard epic heavy metal a little bit, because it's sort of got the bass work going on, and again you still have the kind of like neoclassical influences a little bit there.
Obviously, Trouble too, right?
Yeah, dude, definitely Trouble. And maybe
Trouble
slightly,
influences everything.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly the slower moments on like Twisted Tower Dire. I think probably the first album, which is, not the Curse of Twisted Tower. The Isle of Hydra is probably maybe like the sixth song, like The Longing or something.
Yeah, Twisted Tower Dire is pretty fucking good. I can hear a bit of that in this. These were like at the same time too, so where they're like that early
you have,
like 80s metal revival.
Yeah, you know what I was thinking too, Paul? That kind of this sort of goes in the territory of like a little bit more manly power metal. I sort of thought Axe and Star, but maybe that's not that manly. It's not that manly, but like I don't know, somehow it sort of reminded me of that.
Well, I think what Aiden pointed out was like Heir Apparent. That's a very good one.
Yeah.
I think later,
which one though? Like the first.
Later Man of War, and then later like Majesty or something too.
Like which Heir Apparent? I think this guy also Dumicus also did vocals in like a really like sort of Euro power metal band, so I mean that would make sense.
Well, I was thinking about the first one. That's the only one I really listened to anyway.
Well, the second one they got a lot more like Queen's Reiki and like kind of technical, so I can see that.
They had like in this song they had like that kind of like
the screaming baby on it.
Yeah, I'm looking at that now with the Sitting on the World. But with this track, they had just like that doom like melody that was just cutting off. It was like and then it would just start over again, like using that negative space in like a really unique way that I don't really hear too much like traditional doom doing, but I guess having that like progressive sort of edge to it and that influence comes to that conclusion.
Yeah, I haven't seen like a lot of progressive stuff mentioned in the interviews. It's basically just Mercyful Fate, but like I said, because they're like a heavy, they're a full band. They're obviously pulling from like a bevy of all sorts of influences.
I think that's where I'm getting with like the Heir Apparent though, because that's like more the progressive side of that like power metal scene. Especially for US shit.
I don't even know if like any of that stuff really like made its way sort of like downstream or like filtered its way down to Chile sort of, because it's like Chile was like much more of like a death metal country in the 90s and the early times, like I mentioned with Dominant Soul and Totten Core.
Yeah, maybe like While Heaven Wept could kind of be compared to this too, because they sort of had the prog thing going on a little bit.
They had a sort of like a really technical edge too, so I could see
from that. Like the '98 album up until like maybe the 2009 one. The Vast Oceans or whatever.
Yeah, wasn't there an instrumental album too?
No, the last song was an instrumental, which was
they were like
coolest song they've
they
ever
were
done.
Like a member of that like True Doom circle of like Reverend Bizarre or something.
Yeah, I think they did actually have a member of Graham Belial's Key doing keyboards at some point.
Yes, yeah. Because they were a Virginian band, and it's like all those bands were having a sort of incestuous thing going on, where they like somehow, some way ended up in Graham Belial's Key.
It's some of the same people from Twisted Tower Dire too.
Even King Fowley from Deceased, he did like live vocals from Graham Belial's Key. There's like that one video.
Yeah, I know. He did Doomstone too.
Yeah. It's like Virginia is such a small place, a small scene. Do you guys want to go on to the third track?
Yeah, we can do that.
Or the next track?
Yeah.
Yeah, which one's that?
I picked the 7th track from the video, so that'd be Cementarius.
Yeah, that's actually a re-recording.
Alright, we'll get back into that when we come back. we're back from that third song.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is like obviously their most doomy one.
Yeah,
clearly.
that one's like, yeah, as doomy as they get, and they even have just one part where it kind of goes into like a black metal vocal, but it's just introducing a sweeping solo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back.
And it's like, this is kind of like what the whole album was leaning up to. Like, if you were going to stick through all that stuff, you're going to stick through like the doomy stuff too.
Yeah.
That's like kind of their test.
Yeah, and it's cool because it's like, it's not, like, I think we said it during like the first or second song while we were listening to it, like the alternate universe of this being like gothic doom influence, and they stuck true to, you know, traditional doom, and even down to, you know, playing this right after the cover.
When they kind of like do that sort of like when they first introduce the twin guitar, kind of like inversion of the main melody early on, it kind of sounds like it could be like kind of warped into like a Paradise Lost, circa Shades of God almost. But it's like Shades of God's like a really rock and roll-y sort of album. It almost kind of sounds like a precursor to what like those Finnish bands would do when they went to like death metal. Maybe, I don't know.
I think Joe was telling me in particular to listen to that one because it reminded him of what Enchantment was doing. If that makes any sense to you.
Oh, this was on the Enchantment episode. Yeah, that's my favorite. It's that's my favorite Paradise Lost because Gothic is good, and it really like it really set the foundation for like Gothic metal and stuff like that. But Shades of God kind of like it sort of set a template that like I heard bands like Celestial Season do, where they kind of took it in like a more sort of heavy metal kind of rock and roll direction. It's like it's not doomy. It's not like a dirge where it's not like really dismal and slow. It's got some like pretty words. It almost sounds like unanimated on Ancient God of Evil, sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good
like
comparison.
Especially
on
Celestial Eye of the Grey, especially on Eye of the Greyhound. Like Eye of the Greyhound's like just like basically like a Sabbath song. Can you maybe hear like some sort of like some hints of that in this?
Yeah, Celestial Season for sure right here, dude.
No, Ancient God of Evil.
Honestly, yeah, a little bit. A buddy of mine was just sending me he just sent me that album to like recheck out because we were talking about it a little bit. But yeah, because it's not quite full-on melodic death metal in the way that you would expect. It still has a lot of the sort of like melodic doom metal thing going on.
Yeah, it's kind of like some Venomisms in it.
Yeah. Sabbath. Well, what this song like reminds me of in particular is maybe bands that are trying to make like heavy power metal a thing again, say like Visigoth or I guess you could kind of compare it to Manila Road a little bit. But yeah, it seems to have the like really good production that Visigoth does, and something else that it sort of reminded me of was an older band called Medieval Steel. I don't know that this band ever listened to them, but it sort of has the same kind of it's got the same kind of penchant that these riffs do.
Medieval Steel kind of like they kind of got like big really post hoc, like after a bunch of like compilations and reissues came out, these guys probably weren't listening to. I really like haven't heard any bands mentioned in interviews besides like Mercyful Fate and Diamond. When it's like really only vocally, like those are the only bands that these guys have similar with. Maybe Candlemass and like the doomier bits, especially on this song. This is the most Candlemass one.
It seemed like even just on the cover of Candlemass, he was like going as hard as he could to like do that, but then on the rest of it, it sounded like a completely different vocalist. Because he was really trying to go for that Messiah.
I think at the end of the day, Mercyful Fate is one of the massive influences, but you can hear the kind of like the tributaries from Merciful Fate, specifically for me, it was like Mortuary Drape, bands like that. The second wave bands that had a much more heavy metal approach than the Norwegians.
That's
Things
kind
like
of like the
Samael or the Greek bands.
yeah. That's
More
kind of
more
how
of
I
that sort
got
of
into
thing.
this band. I was really into stuff like Mortuary Drape at the time. I still am, like, but I was like way obsessed with those bands, like fucking early, like Root, Masters Hammer, Mortuary Drape, stuff like that.
Makes sense.
Those
So
are
your
still some of my
podcast calls
favorite
that?
bands.
No.
Actually, yep. Yeah, that was my choice. I was, we were like just floating ideas. I'm like, fuck, Occult Abyss, fucking Mortuary Drape song. We got to name it that.
Yeah.
We were
Don't they
just
have
like
a song
coming up with
called
like,
Bewitchment too?
yeah, but that would just be
Yeah,
too.
I think that's
That would be
Astral
too on the
Bewitchment.
nose.
Hmm.
Yeah, Astral Bewitchment.
Oh, you know what this is
That
actually kind of like, man? It's kind of like
this
Zemiel in the fact that it isn't.
well,
It really
solos in
doesn't.
this.
Yeah,
The
it doesn't
solos
really
in this
barely have
remind
any
me a
kind
lot
of
of All the Witches Dance, where they like they do like the sweep picking and all that shit.
Hmm.
Trying to remember like who the guitarist was on All the Witches Dance, but they had like a crazy, like technically accomplished guitarist for that one. Like the solo on Astral Bewitchment, like all sorts of sweep picking going on that you like hear on this. So maybe Mortuary Drape were an influence on these guys, but they kind of like arrive at a similar conclusion that they did, because like Mortuary Drape, especially on All the Witches Dance, were like pretty proggy. They were like a very proggy band, but I don't even think they like listened to stuff like Paul Chain or early Death SS.
Yeah, because those are their
Uh,
countrymen. So I
mhm.
wonder if they
Well,
even like
I've
went back
read
to that.
I've read in interviews that like Wildness Perversion just like outright rejects any comparisons to Death SS.
Hmm.
Like he says he's aware of them, but he doesn't like hear on influence.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen to metal these days, anyways, at all. So
Yeah,
J
it's
Dog.
it's crazy. Like the latest albums, it just sounds like he listened to Merciful Fate in the '80s and just stopped listening to any metal after
did
that.
you like the new one?
I did actually. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I did too. Like it kind of sounded like a return to like the first album, sort of like really weird, like shreddy, sort of almost kind of proggy black thrash sort of stuff.
Yeah, and he made the whole thing about past lives, and there's a lot of ritualism in all the albums, but this one was specifically about looking into your past lives, and
Yeah,
he
Rattle Breath is probably one of my favorite song titles ever because it just sounds so weird and eerie,
yeah,
ghostly.
no, it's
Really fits the band's sound quite well.
it's a really good album. Like them, like whenever they come out with and they took a long time to release this album too, but when they released the EP the year before, that was good and exciting, and then I didn't think they'd come out with an album that quickly, but they did, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, these guys, Bewitched, have been around since '90, and I've listened to the early demos, but the early demos are pretty skippable. They just kind of sound like Autopsy, but it's like really on that '94 demo on Last Breath, they kind of they started to get more black, and so maybe they were listening to Mortuary Drape, but the guy who played in Die Kunst der Finsternis, like that's a pretty overtly Mortuary Drape influenced band, so maybe they were kind of a latent influence on them, but that's just speculation. But maybe Samael, like on fucking like the demos, like early Samael on Worship.
I was thinking the
absolutely.
album, the In Monumentum 2006.
From Samael.
For Zemiel,
Yeah.
because I said Samael.
Yeah, fair.
Oh,
Samael, holy shit.
well,
Worship.
I had brought up Zemiel, and that's sort of what this reminded me of too, because it's got the extreme like heavy metal thing going on, but the
Yeah, I could
kind
see
of black
the
metalish
I could
vocals.
see the Monumentum comparison. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
March of the Giants, maybe especially.
Have you listened to Morrigan, the band that Mayhemic Truth changed their name to?
Fred just brought
One-
them up a couple episodes ago.
One of my
Yeah.
favorite bands.
Oh, they're so good. Maybe because they have like a sort of like kind of like disaster. They sort of have like a heavy metal essentialism to them. Like I remember on Plague, Waste, and Death, there's like one track where they just like fucking pull out like a full-on Slayer sort of Dark Angel riff.
Ashes to ashes, lust to lust.
Yeah, that's
There's pulled out the Raining Blood riff completely. They didn't even hide it.
Yeah. They totally like pull out the Raining Blood riff, but it's like okay because it's so good. That whole that album, like the drummer, like Jesus, it sounds like it's falling apart. It almost sounds grindy. Like I remember reading a comment that somebody like mentioned Destroyer from Gorgoroth, and it's like maybe, but it like almost sounds like grindy. But I think the drummer on that album also played in Sluggathor. It's like really like brutal like Finnish death metal band.
Yeah. You know about the slugs?
So that can make sense. Yeah.
You're under control of the slug.
No, he didn't play in Sluggathor. There was a drummer from Sluggathor who played in Morrigan at some point, but that's like a really crazy sounding album.
I think Plague, Waste, and Death was still the Beliar Baylor duo. I think they stayed that way until they broke up the first time.
Yeah.
I think Baylor didn't do anything. I think it was in another band called. No, I'm thinking something else. Never mind. One of the members of Morrigan put out a demo that I really liked, but I don't remember what it was anymore.
Do you think the vocalist is still good? Who is the vocalist of Morgan?
That's Beliar.
Yeah.
He's an acquired taste for sure, but when I heard the newest album, it kind of took me aback, and the more I listen to it, the more I think it's the best album they've done since Enter the Sea of Flames.
Yeah, his black metal vocals are like they're pretty fucking nuts. I love them. They almost when the vocalist for Bewitched, they're also really good too. If he just did like black metal vocals, this would still be pretty good. But I also couldn't imagine this track Cemeterius with black metal vocals either. I couldn't imagine it with like any other vocals.
Yeah, it needs that that spirit of trying to go back into that style.
Oh, I heard a bit of an echo there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's gone now. Yeah, but it's like every single song, like they kind of just like they do like one of the vocal styles, and it's this almost sounds like Morrigan, where it's like some tracks they do the Bathory clean vocals, or they do like the really harsh screams. Where it's
the shift back and forth is kind of analogous to Morrigan. I agree.
Yeah, and yeah, I couldn't imagine it any other way. Like I couldn't imagine the new Morrigan album with where they do like the clean vocals more than the actual screams in the blackened ones, because it just sounds like it's such a really sort of like long-winded, like doomy sort of album where it's like obviously pulling from like later Bathory, but I don't really know if I hear a lot of Bathory in Bewitched. In the Swedish Bewitched, yes, but mostly that's just like ancillary because they sound a bit like Venom, and everybody says Venom sounds like Bathory, so on and so forth, vice versa.
Yeah, this doesn't really sound like either.
Like which scenes would you say that Bewitched sounds like the most? Is it just like Sweden?
I'd say Mediterranean.
Probably a mix
on
of
Cemeterius,
Swedish and Mediterranean.
Yeah, on Cemeterius I can see that. Maybe like Hades from Norway. On the doomier ones, like Hades is a pretty doomy band. Like I think they even did they did a split with Catatonia. So after this they kind of just like went into more straight up black metal. Do you guys want to move on to the next one?
I think that was all of them, but I was gonna say that you know, they list their influences primarily as like, you know, Merciful Fate and Candlemass, and obviously they're coming out at a time where black metal was contemporary and already established. Of course, having an
They
ear
opened
to
for
like
Dimmu.
Norway, yeah,
Yeah. They
and
opened
like
for Dimmu, so they were kind of like standing in the shadow. Like this was in 2000. Like this is when Dimmu was fucking blowing up.
yeah, and it's like what contemporary bands do you think that they actually like took influence from? Because it outside of the vocals, it seems like not much of anything is
Well,
black metal, right?
Yeah, it
on
doesn't seem like anything
the
here is black metal. It's
on the
all
later
fucking 80s.
albums, on the later albums, they covered Isengard, they covered Falconback, they
Yeah, I think
covered
Falconback is more of a, you know, has that like Viking doom folkish.
yeah, and they covered Covenant, Norwegian one. They covered Enya, and they also covered Burzum. So
Doesn't seem like those were influences, though. It
Yeah,
just seems like
no,
those are
it just seems like that's just like them
things that
kind
they
of
probably were listening to at the time.
yeah.
my boy was born too late.
Too late.
I
And
mean,
die-
shit,
and-
you
and
can't
died
say
too early.
you can't. They were doing a split with Fun Cunt, so I mean, it's like it's such a weird like out there band to do a split with.
Yeah,
It
Like,
really is.
totally-
I think I remember seeing that when I was getting into Fun Cunt, that they did a split with a band, but yeah, I never bothered to check them out, and then here we go later. I think Dragonflight was probably the first. I don't know if it was you or if it was some other Instagram guy, but
You have a video
Dragonflight
of
was
it.
like introduced to me first.
Me?
yeah, you have like an upload of it. So
Yeah,
that's how I listened
yeah,
to
I
it
uploaded
today.
it. That's like the first one I listened to, and it's like I'm trying to remember which track it was. As soon as I heard it, that's like when I fell. That's like the first song I heard from this band, and I fell in love with them. They're definitely in my top 10 bands of all time.
Oh, okay.
Shit, I think it's the title track, Dragonflight. They have like this really crazy twin guitar. Yeah, Candles. Oh shit, Candles of Doom has like a really, like sort of essentialist Candlemass riff, and the title track, Dragonflight, has like this insane twin harmony guitar. That's like the one that got me into Bewitched.
But they weren't like sweeping and all that in those albums, right? It was a little bit more like amateurish and getting, you know, developing their skills to this album, because it feels like this is, like you said,
Kind
the
of.
end of a trilogy.
Yeah, kind of, because Iran Evil, I'm like looking at his credits right now. In the first one, he's covered as Epic Warrior. It's like on the second one, that's kind of when they started to get like their more technical makings. They started to come to the fore. But like the first one was just like, you could just straight up just call it a Black Doom album. But there were also some like heavy metal flourishes there, like I said earlier on the Prophets of Fate. Like it has this sort of like climax where it just all kind of comes together into like this solo. But this is like definitely their most technical album, and definitely their most proggy too, where they do these like weird stuttery riffs.
Yeah.
Like they could have been like a open air band. I could see that.
Yeah, me too. They definitely have the flair for that. It sort of reminds me of Demoniac as well, where it's like, oh, it's power metal, but they got the fucking black metal vocals in there.
Yeah, Demoniac, the band with a song with a name that begins with N, ends with ut.
Yeah, exactly.
Rhymes
We were
with-
talking about that not too long ago.
Rhymes with digger butt.
Yeah, rhymes with digger butt. That's right. I don't know if you could tell. I switched microphones.
I
The other
actually
one was
got
pissing me
into-
off.
What was that?
So I don't know if you can tell. I switched microphones. The other one was making me angry.
I actually got into Demoniac pretty early on. I'm trying to
Yeah,
remember
me
when
too.
I got it.
Me and Paul were into them in like high school.
Cause I got into them.
But I was already a big Dragon Force fan, anyways.
I didn't even know they were like a Dragon Force.
Yeah, it's
existing band.
it's the two guitar players from Dragon Force. I think they got the Chinese
And
guy
then, like,
later, but
On the Chinese guy. On the second one, they got like Chris Verwin to do oh shit.
that's who I thought it was.
JP
I think it's somebody else.
JP. Yeah, the other guy who looks like really like Chris Verwin. JP Fournier, that guy who fucking shot his dad with a fucking crossbow.
Oh, that's not very nice.
No, he did art for Angel Corpse too, but maybe you could hear some. Would you say you hear some demoniac in this? Not like
Maybe.
Euro.
I mean,
Not
honestly,
like Euro, like double bass power metal, like the early thousands.
yeah, for maybe like
Like this is more
the
80s.
first. There's a couple tracks that like speed up, but for the most part, it is pretty doomy. But I guess the overall. I mean, that's a
Like
pop.
it's when it's like on the like, do you know like the blue collar white collar U.S. power metal thing that like people always throw around, sort of.
Would blue
And, like,
collar
reviews and
power
stuff.
metal be like Omen?
Yeah, blue collar would be like Omen, white collar would be like Crimson Glory and Air Parent and stuff like that.
No, okay, yeah, the more like
Okay.
legal sounding shit.
Something
Yeah,
fancier,
that's-
maybe.
Yeah, like this is like kind of like the power metal where like the white collar stuff where it started to like really kind of get big, like on like circa Operation Mindcrime, like in the late
Yeah,
80s.
yeah. You would see bands like that on fucking Metal Force magazine or something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody's familiar with Megaforce. The only reason I know them is I found a big stack of them at a swap meet once, and they have, they were featuring bands like Crimson Glory and all that kind of shit. Halloween too.
You know, though, mentioning basically a black metal version of power metal reminded me of who this band made me think of, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Countess from the Netherlands.
Dude, yeah.
'Cause-
I was just like I was just listening to that earlier today to see if there was any similarities, and I totally feel that.
I don't think they would have
think you guys
influenced
lost me.
Bewitched, because the Countess stuff that I think this sounds like came after. It was especially with Heilig Vor and onwards, where they really went headfirst into the more traditional metal sound, even though it was present in the older albums, but not as pronounced. But I think, like, listening to this, vocals aside, musically, I heard a lot. It was very reminiscent of Countess,
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
which is never a bad thing for me.
Hello?
Yeah.
I kind of cut out there for a second. Yeah, it just like started roboting out. Were you guys talking about
Yeah,
Countess?
mine did too.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
were, although in fairness, I'm always talking about Countess.
Yeah, that's true. Fred is always bringing
I can maybe hear Countess, but like not as this is like way more technically complex than Countess, obviously. Like this is
It's more technical, but the more traditional metal approach and infusing into black metal is what Countess does, especially later on.
Did you
So that's
mention
where I've heard it.
Countess? Did you mention Countess as like unicycle black metal or something?
No.
I swear to God, I've heard that somewhere. But Countess to me is like black metal that white people would have called you the N-word on in the 19th century while riding one of those penny far things. You know what those are?
Yeah.
Those like really big bicycles. That's what Countess represents to me, sound wise.
To me, Countess is just straight up one of the best black metal bands ever.
Oh yeah, they're good. They're I couldn't see them being very big today with like the new people. They're just like such a like old school band. They're kind of like sort of like Man of War, sort of in a sense.
It seems like Countess is getting a decent amount of attention these days. I see them mentioned all the time.
Yeah.
They got a lot of attention back when they in the earlier Barbarian Wrath days, and they kind of started releasing a lot of albums. And
You mentioned
I think
Barbarian Wrath. That might be how I found Bewitched, maybe. I don't think they were on Barbarian Wrath, but
No, they weren't.
No, they certainly weren't. But Bewitched sounds like a band that might be on Barbarian Wrath, or could be on Barbarian Wrath.
yeah, I could
They were
definitely see
like
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the first two definitely, certainly. This one maybe not so much. Like this could be on like a sort of like a second tier label, like maybe I don't know, like fucking Osmos or something. Maybe Osmos, but those first two, they would like fit right in with like the really weird barbarian roster. Like this almost this is like a more like sort of high fidelity open air live friendly version of Faust Coven, sort of.
Yeah, I was thinking Faust Coven too.
Yeah.
It's really ambitious for like the production seems like they probably could have gotten a lot bigger than they did.
Like going right back to Peter Tactrin, like this is something that like could have been produced in like Abyss Studios.
Oh, dude, yeah, definitely. This could definitely be Swedish. Something else that was making me think of that was like the not so professional vocal styling, like the singing vocals that he was doing. Like the Swedes and the Finns do a lot of this, but they do it so much. They do it so differently.
Oh,
Maybe it's
if
because this
you
band
listen,
is from
if you listen
Chile.
to Darkwood's My Betrothed, have you heard of that band?
No, never.
They're like a
I don't
Finnish band.
I'm sure you've heard them, Dan. They've...
I think one of the guys from Nightwish plays with them now, but like they had some really awful like acquired taste like drunk Viking vocals on the second album on Autumn Roars Thunder. This is like kind of that same.
There was some other band that like sort of reminds me of this when it comes to the vocal stylings too. They were like Falkenbach. They were called like Heathen Circle or something. God, what the fuck were they called?
Heathen.
Some fucking album cover with like a knight with the like the Heathen's Rage fucking like
Heathen's
helmet
Rage.
thing. It wasn't Heathen's Rage. I think they were called Heathen Circle maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, Heathen's Rage is a good name, but they don't sound like this. But
no. There's some other damn band, Heathen something. I can't remember what the name of them is.
Well, like doing the really like weird, like really try hard clean vocals.
Yes, sort of in the same style of like Falkenbach a little bit.
Trying to think.
Not Heathen Foray because that's something else.
Yeah, I'm looking through all. Are they like would they be like classified as like a pagan band or what?
Isn't Heathen Foray one of the Falkenbach tracks?
It is, but there is a band called Heathen Foray that's been around since like 2009.
I'm going.
Oh, is there?
I heard that, but that's not what I was thinking of. Either way, it still has more of the traditional heavy metal thing, but going into like Viking, like vocal sound, something like Doomsword, basically.
Yeah, would you say this kind of sounds like Doomsword?
A little bit.
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, Doomsword is a lot more repetitive and simplistic, but
well, on this track, you can definitely hear like a lot of Doomsword, like on the repetition.
Oh yeah, for
sure. On our Cemeterius, yeah. On that sort of in that sense, they're a lot like Doomsword. But that's just it's just Doomsword just being a doom metal band. That's kind of that comes with the territory.
Yeah. Should we get into our final thoughts about the album?
Yeah.
Fred, go.
What, me? Why is it always Fred go first?
It's easy.
Is it always Fred go first?
It's always Fred go first. Paul, go.
We didn't get a single crack in on this episode. You're like you're not locked in.
I got one, but not him.
Paul said cracking, didn't he?
Doesn't count.
Yeah.
It's not as cool.
You had to pick up the slack.
Yeah.
Well, Fred's drinking a cup of water. Like I said, you can do a splash and you can like play. You can fucking splash your fingers around the water.
Splashing.
Splashing. Then you just hear like a fizz and my microphone goes out.
Oh, you know what you could do? You could fucking gargle. That'd be cool. Whoa!
My throat is so dry right now. That explains why I was fucking losing my voice right now.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't know what to say about this that I haven't already said, but the vocals are. I think we said it best, especially for the clean vocals. Someone just who doesn't really necessarily have all the skill, but is giving it his all. And my God, did he give it his all? And that passion comes through in it. So even if it's not technically proficient, I think that's made up for with the sheer audacity and enthusiasm behind them. So
Yeah, that's
it's
what I
something I
was
can
getting at.
appreciate
He's not like Jeff
pretty well.
Tate, classically trained.
No, not by a long shot. But yeah, musically, fairly eclectic mix. I think narrowing it down to just Merciful Fate and Candlemass is really just the beginnings of it, because all the bands that those two influenced, especially in the black metal tributary, for lack of a better term, you hear those reverberating in here as well. Everything that they influenced from their inception through to when this album was recorded. So that's why, like, I'm hearing some Swedish things here and there. I'm hearing Mediterranean stuff. I'm hearing, like I said, Countess, which is basically just power metal with a black metal lipstick on.
It really is just like straight up power metal, like Euro stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, it's a style I can appreciate, and I'm happy we've brought this band up, because it's not one that I had thought of going back to after my initial encounter with them decades ago. So it's something I'll probably dive into a bit more, especially the earlier stuff, because I'm curious to hear these the first couple albums and even the demos, because that's, you said they just sound like Autopsy, and now I'm just more curious.
Yeah, they kind of sound like Autopsy. It's been a while, but I remember them sounding like Autopsy. Like they were just like Death Doom, but yeah, maybe debut Paradise Lost.
That's my favorite Paradise Lost, so I'm okay with that.
Perfectly fine, yeah.
Paul, go.
All right, well, this album, first time hearing it, it's it's it's
Did you say smashing?
It says
No,
splashing.
splashing.
Oh, I thought you said smashing.
What is it? What is it? Wallace? Is Wallace from fucking Wallace? I'm gonna even have like a catchphrase. I'm trying to remember. I don't think it was smashing.
That's
No,
the
no,
Wells
he
Thorn-
goes,
Nigel
uh,
Thornberry.
Cheese and cratchit.
No, yeah, you're thinking of Nigel Thornberry. Smashing.
Yeah.
Deborah.
Wrong British. Wrong British cartoon character. Oh, speaking of the Thornberries, who's the fucking crazy kid?
Crazy Kid? Oh, Donnie. That was the bass player from the Chili Peppers who was doing that guy's voice.
Oh my god. I'm trying to. Oh, he sounds like the vocalist from Inquisitor from the Netherlands.
Yeah,
It's like
Inquisitor
dead on.
kind of sounded like a crazier fucking Danny Filth or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Man, when I heard Inquisitor first, or when I first heard Inquisitor after knowing Centurion,
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
you can
expecting...
They don't have the same guitar player, but you
no,
can
and they definitely don't have the same vocal style. I'm like, what the
no,
fuck is this?
no. Yeah. The Centurion's like more Glenn Benton-y,
More stately.
more like Chrysian-y, more rebellion-y, more, if you know, like all your Brazilian bands, Abhorrence, not the Finnish one, but I like to call it the early thousands Patagno core wave, where they all use fucking Patagno, Joe Patagno art.
Core, love it.
Yeah. The Mountain Dew Game Fuel cover art color palette. But yeah, these guys didn't sound like it. Maybe in an alternate dimension, if these guys were a death metal band, maybe. But they were, I don't know, they were doing their own thing.
Yeah, they're like, this album was a big catfish for me. I'm looking at getting some background knowledge on the archives. I'm like, oh fuck, Black Doom, all right. And then listen to the first track, and it blows me away. And it has me not expecting what's to come, but I think with that initial, like, pulling the rug out from under me, got me prepared for that Doom section, which was the rest of the album, and it made it much more interesting to me, because it could have been like a Dream Death sort of situation where the dynamics are like thrash and Doom, but in this case Black and Doom. But the way that they restrain themselves from going too extreme and being more,
Too
I guess, like
extreme.
slavish to traditional Doom, like makes them much more interesting, especially going into like 2000s, releasing an album like this. Like, it's great.
Yeah, and we basically already have Black Doom in
Yeah.
like in the sort of like, I wouldn't say slavish, but more like kind of elemental adherence to like Sabbath and Saint Vitus and stuff like that, and that's basically just Faust Coven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's just total Sabbath. Like they use a harmonica on their most recent album. It's like so bluesy. But
I think you were right on with the Celestial Season comparison. That's totally on the money.
that's not really what I was going for, but I'm surprised. But I can hear it now.
Well, yeah, because they kind of rock too. I mean, this band doesn't really.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't like stop you in your tracks. You're It's doomy, but you're kind of walking through mud. You're still going, but you're just going a little bit slower.
Sons of Satan. The reason I chose that song is because it's like the perfect opening song. It's like Night's Blood.
Yeah, totally. I was gonna fucking pick that one too.
Especially the live
like
track where you
Night's
see the
Blood.
drummer. You see the drummer going crazy on it in the ride cymbal.
Yeah, these dudes have
the,
an interesting look too.
And it's funny to
Yeah.
hear like a lot of more extreme metal bands with heavy metal influence. Like I'm thinking of like the Greek scene and like Master's Hammer and
Nowadays too, it's like it's not really seamless. It's kind of like a light shade dynamic where they just kind of like it's like here's the heavy metal part, here's the black metal part, or sometimes it'll like be black metal with heavy metal vocals or vice versa. It's like this one, it's just like totally seamless.
yeah, it's like filtered through their own sound rather than
Mm-hmm.
like using those parts as particular parts. It's just kind of like what they wanted to. This is just what they sound like, you know.
Oh, these guys, they kind of, I don't know, maybe the guy from Malacarpatan, maybe he would know them. Like, these seem like a really weird out there band. But these guys kind of, like, they almost accidentally sort of arrived at the same conclusion as Malacarpatan. Although Malacarpatan was just kind of like re-excavating old, like, Czech bands.
Yeah, the Master's Hammer and shit like that.
Yeah, and then kind of like crossing them with like prog rock and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
And
still have the like Angel Witch influence in there a little bit.
Yeah, and
Yep.
this is kind of like 90s, like sort of like 90s black metal of the time, just like kind of infused with some like 80s stuff.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is like all those other scenes were influenced mainly by like heavy metal, 80s heavy metal, but this is like influenced not only by heavy metal but the traditional doom coming at the time, and I think that's like really significant for what made them sound this way,
Mm-hmm.
versus like the other scenes. I guess you could say like the Italian Mediterranean scene had that doom influence as well, but I think these guys wore it on their sleeve like much more, but in a like confident way where it was like their own interpretation of that rather than like just a like kind of worshipy sounding band.
Yeah.
Dango.
You want me to go?
Or stop. No, just kidding.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. Shut up, Fred.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
Hype me up,
I
man.
guess. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, I guess with this album, I feel like there's a little bit for a fan of any type of metal subgenre here. You have the prog metal, you got the doom. You could basically start a new podcast. It's gonna pop up, the Terminal Extreme Metal Podcast, where you're gonna have the prog metal guy, and then the doom metal guy, and this is gonna be like a personal favorite of theirs. I feel like I really don't hear any, honestly, besides the vocals with this release in general. There isn't a whole lot of black metal in it. I don't think there's
Sons of
moments
Satan
of
is like unequivocally just like the most black metal track
it, kind of, but still
in
at
the
the
first
same
part.
time, it's mostly like 80s thrash stuff.
Yeah,
Even with some of the stop starting more technical parts that kind of exude throughout these doom metal sections.
yeah.
But
The
I think
first
that's
part where there's like that sweeping in synth section could
y-
have like really been a fake out for like Emperor or something.
yeah, I think this whole album is sort of a giant fake out.
It's like a Trojan horse of an album.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're introduced to this band as Doom, and from what I remember of you telling me like a while ago was King Diamond and also fucking Candlemass. But then getting into getting into the first track, it sounds like fucking 80s thrash, and then it goes into something that could be like a slower power metal kind of band like Master Plan or like a slower fucking gamma ray track or something like that. And it sort of
Hmm.
just keeps switching back and forth from the doom to the slight tech things. And but with that, it still has a modern sound, has a nice fucking beefy production, but it sort of keeps the 80s like quote unquote true metal spirit
Yeah, it's produced. It's
throughout.
produced really well. It's produced very organically. The
Yeah, organically and also like really ambitiously too, because even some of the vocals that come in the background that I said sounded like sigh, those are just weird. Like I like that this band doesn't really uh, they're not afraid to fucking go in with the weird vocals and the weird sort of sweeping sections and
It's yeah, like they are
everything like
really
that.
weird. They're just like a really weird and idiosyncratic band where it's just like it's like
Well,
if this were
all of
like
their
an
yeah
organism, it would just be like a just like a ball of like tumors just like ripping itself apart or something, just like
yeah.
cancerous.
I mean,
But
yeah, it even
the
shows that with like the album art too, because all the album art is not
yeah, I'm
quite
like
what
what's
you would
the
expect. This whole
what's
band
like
is
the
unexpected.
nemesis
I
and the
think that's
revelation of doom? It's just like it's like this weird like incantation style production with like this like sort of like Vaughn repetitiveness, and there's like 9/11 samples and shit, and King Diamond vocals. It's like the weirdest band ever, too.
yeah. I heard the 90 both of the 92 demos today actually. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, and I also heard that 2016 album that you would uploaded too, the one with the fucking sun
it's
wheel on it.
weird. It's weird.
Yeah, it's cool. I think that this band, even though they do change a bit as they go on, it kind of retains. It just retains like an interest. It's not boring at all. It moves and yeah, what I'm basically saying is like it's totally unexpected in in ways that are cool. There's not really anything bad I can say about this record or this
Yeah,
band in general from what I've heard so far.
yeah, and it's a shame I'm not going to hear anything about it again because like the main songwriter passed away last year too. So
R.I.P.
it's
Oh
like
man.
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, yeah, that kind of like really hit me because it's like shit. It's like this is
Dumicus?
like one of the yes, and that's
He
like
he he met his Doomicus.
Yeah, he was born
oh
too late and he's gone too early.
oh man. That's tough. But it's like that kind
His
of like
death
hit
is
me
just met with a
personally.
podcast with like a bunch of fucking puns, doom metal puns.
That's like cover Killer Nation
Yeah,
doing
that's
a
what I was gonna
fucking
say.
two
Like,
minute
that was his
2 minute
only.
memorial.
The Goat
We've
Lord
That's
guy.
become
not
cover
even
Killer
good.
Nation.
Imagine having him as like your fucking Undertaker. It's basically done at that point. Holy shit.
He's actually working behind the scenes right now.
Oh. But
The cover
Yeah,
killer.
Aiden, you want to get into your thoughts about this? I mean, you brought it on.
yeah, I've never heard anything like it. Like I've never heard anybody sort of mention this. I've never heard anybody just like mention it in passing, like mention Bewitched, even um in like a thank you context or like in interviews or anything. Really, the only sort of breakout I've seen with this elsewhere is in I think I've actually seen Aster from Denial of God post Dragonflight on his page, but it's like that's not like a really like just like a spot like in the spotlight. Like he's got like a pretty big collection, but I've not seen this kind of make its overture into any sort of larger audience beyond one of the drummers playing in PetroArts and who I don't really care for, and Die Kunst der Finsternis. That's really like the only sort of breakup, besides them like opening for Demi Borgir, but that's basically it. And I just, it's like this to me is up there with like Sacramentum, with like Winterland, or just like any other like band that I just love and I listen to it forever. Like I was listening to Unanimated, In the Forest of the Dreaming Dead, and it's like this is like an album I could listen to forever. And this kind of like hits similar to it, but in a different way. I don't know. It's like it feels like this album was just like made for me.
Well, it was a good pick to bring on.
I thought this would be a good fit because like this is such like a, is like you sort of talk about like heavy metal and stuff like this and its relationship to extreme metal and vice versa. So I just thought this would be perfect.
Yeah,
we're all fans of basically all subgenres and everything.
Just I mean, I don't think you would have heard like an Annihilator or a Brokus Helm name drop elsewhere.
No, not really, and you really just wouldn't hear this band mentioned anywhere else. So I think it's good that you've posted them on your channel, and I don't know if it was just you, but I feel like I've seen it a few times from a few other, maybe like that Minas Ilgal fucking Instagram channel or whatever. But and then us doing it too. It's like I don't know. That's why all these pages and that's
I've
why
showed
we
this
do
to
it
a
too.
bunch of people who I thought like on paper should like it, but they either like never got around to it or they just didn't like it. Like I showed this to the guy from Dungeon Serpent, and I don't know if he ever got around to it, but this just like seems exactly like something that he'd like, because it's like he's like sort of really into the crossover with extreme and heavy metal.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of the younger guys are really into this idea of crossing the heavy metal and speed metal and death and black and
this
everything.
is whenever like people talk about like, oh, Grimble Q sounds like Iron Maiden, blah, 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 blah. Like this is what people think they're talking about when they say that about Grimble Key. And really,
and then plus this has the weird not so good vocals, but I think that's still part of the charm of it.
Yeah, whenever people
even
talk
though it's
about
not
when
even
people
though
talk
it's not
about
conventionally
Key
good
in that context, it's just that one song where they pull out the riff. I'm trying to remember what it is, but I can't remember. Oh, Foul Parody of the Lord's Supper. Yeah, Foul Parody of the Lord's Supper. That's just like, oh, this sounds like Iron Maiden, but it's like if you really know this stuff, it's like not like Iron Maiden. It's just like a freaking power chord. But that's neither here nor there. This sounds like nothing that I've ever heard.
Yeah,
and I've heard bands that arrive at a similar
sound
conclusion, but not really sound like it. That's basically my closing thoughts on it.
Nice. Do you have anything you want to promote, or like Occult Abyss? Is that coming back? And
you got an EP coming out or something? You got a solo project?
You got any bands or?
No, I've got nothing in the works right now. I'd really like to maybe start up something along the lines of Occult Abyss. Like I want to talk more about this sort of stuff because I don't know. I just think that's it's like it's stuff I know about, and I just feel like I'd like to give a lot of exposure to stuff that I really can't really like upload, or just like I've already uploaded, but I just feel like there's just like some sort of piece that I just need to say on it, because I just like typing it out would just take up too much time.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Nobody reads anymore.
Yeah, nobody reads anymore.
I can't read.
Although I would rather read than watch something, to be honest.
Well, this is a great point. You don't have to watch this because there's nothing to watch. Just put it on at work and yeah,
dude,
exactly.
everybody's listening to podcasts now. Everybody's listening to the fucking podcast.
Yeah, you got any good metal podcasts to or that you're listening to these days? What can you tell us? You seen any good movies lately? What can you end with?
I'm almost done with Star Trek TNG. That's it.
Nice.
That's it.
Yeah, see, that's Fred's thing there.
Yep.
I'm finishing it up. I'm almost done.
Paul, you see that movie?
I think
you
I've
ever see that
finished
movie
the Naked
Naked
now.
Lunch?
If I can get through the Naked now, I can make it through anything.
No, I just know it's a book, but that's about it.
Yeah, it was
William
a
Boris.
Cronenberg movie. That metalhead gamer guy. He posted a clip of it, and I thought it looked interesting. It's one of those like.
Who?
It's almost like Eraserhead or something, in the mutated surrealist film. You got a bunch of
Metalhead
bugs
gamer.
that turn into fucking typewriters and shit.
Metalhead gamer. Who's that? I think I might know that.
It's an Instagram guy. His name is Josh. He posts some good shit.
Oh. There's a lot of Joshes. Josh Saunders, Cobra. Too many.
Yeah, you'll find him. Just look up Metalhead Gamer. You'll find him.
Mm-hmm.
Metalhead Gamer
one of
80.
these Zoomer characters.
Too many metal gamers.
Too many metal gamers.
We gotta clear them all out. No more.
Unfortunately, I don't game. I've tried.
I'm sure
but,
some of them.
I
I'm
don't
sure
have
some
the
of them are
attention
good
span.
people. Yeah, me neither. I honestly can't. Fuck. I just sit down and play guitar. That's basically it.
Damn, I haven't picked
I've
up my
been
guitar in forever. We have to fucking
playing-
start jamming again.
Playing
I think, right?
playing the same disincarnate riff.
Damn, what was that song called? Rotting in Paradise or something?
No, I'm playing Monarch of the Sleeping Marches. That's just fucking kicking my ass.
I got word, Paul, from Transcendence. They said their vocalist was at Steelfest in Finland, and he wants to redo his vocals, so they're going to send their track on Friday.
Transcendence is in the Blackish death metal band.
Blackish death metal band from LA.
Oh.
Yeah, they're gonna be on our label
I
comp.
think I've heard of them. I think I've listened to them. Did they do the album with like the lava and shit and like the weird demons and stuff?
Yeah, something that looks like a
I
Verlaine
remember that sounding
fucking,
a lot
artwork.
like. I remember that sounding a lot like Nocturnal Silence. I really
Yes.
like that.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like
This, by the
it's-
way, like this is up there with Nocturnal Silence. Is like my all-time favorites.
yeah, the fucking necrophobic. It does sound
Mhm.
a lot like that. Yeah, and, they haven't responded to me in like 2 weeks, but then finally got an answer. So there you go.
Damn, if they're recording
then
something
Robert-
new, I want to know.
Robert's fucking sending us some kind of like electronic track that we'll throw in as a interlude, I guess. Oh, I guess he's working on a song. Did you know that, Paul? I didn't know that he was making a new song for us.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I guess that's what's going on.
Cool. Well,
Yes.
let's get out of here.
Almost.
Let's let these
All
guys
right.
go to sleep.
Let's
Okay,
get
go to
out
bed,
of here.
you
That's like such
East Coasters.
Yeah, holy shit. Man. Let's
Splashing.
get out of here. Yeah,
Get
that's
out
like
of
such a-
here.